Chapter 420. In the distance, jade-faced playboy looked at Lin Xian, who was increasing his cultivation. His heart was bleeding. It should have belonged to him. If he could get it, he would be able to enter the spirit-detecting realm in a short time. But now, Lin Xian took advantage of it. Old bastard. You are already dead, but you are still not at ease. Why do you have to jump out and seek death? Jade-faced playboy also realized that the evil king was not really resurrected. He was in some kind of abnormal state. Although he was afraid, the greed in his heart overcame his reason. The evil king's crystal must be mine. Beside jade-faced playboy, the peach blossom conception suddenly spread out. It formed a huge pink folding fan in the air and slashed down. Wind Slayer! Lin Xian had entered the mid-harmonious spirit realm. His strength had increased greatly. He quickly pulled out the wind shadow sword and slashed out a sharp sword chi. In an instant, the huge folding fan in the sky was torn apart. Ah, what a terrifying sword chi! The evil king's spirit sense fluctuated. Destined one, according to our agreement, I will control this bloody freak. As for the others, I can't do anything with my current strength. Enough! Lin Xian's eyes emitted a shocking light. He was already satisfied to be able to trap a spirit-transforming realm warrior. As for jade-faced playboy, he was able to resist before he successfully broke through. Now that he had successfully broken through to the mid-harmonious spirit realm, it would be easier to deal with him. Lin Xian's aura was strong. He slashed open the huge peach blossom folding fan. Brat, although you are powerful, you can only tie with me at most. Moreover, once I use my trump card, you will definitely not be my opponent. How about this? You give me the evil king's crystal, and I will let you live. Jade-faced playboy said. Humph, no way. Lin Xian sneered and completely ignored him. Since you are courting death, then don't blame me. Jade-faced playboy used all his strength to wield the peach blossom conception. It emitted a strange fragrance that filled the air. Not good, the fragrance is poisonous. Hold your breath. Zhao Shui's face changed. You and I will work together to kill him. Lin Xian turned his head and said. Then 70% of the dragon's sword chi in his body surged out. A giant dragon shadow behind him. At the same time, streaks of green ripples flickered as the concept of wind was unleashed. With a wave of the wind shadow sword chi shot out in all directions. Zhao Shui took out the stone bead and injected her soul power into it, pushing it with all her might. The stone bead trembled, and the central eyeball emitted light. Countless symbols flew out, forming a terrifying killing move. The two of them joined forces to fight jade-faced playboy. In the distance, the blood-robed man had been imprisoned by evil king, and no matter how he struggled, he couldn't escape. Beside him, the 3 vermilion bloodbirds kept chirping. Boom! There was a huge explosion in the air, and the 3 figures quickly separated. Jade-faced playboy floated down with shock in his eyes. He was actually being suppressed. How is that possible? Jade-faced playboy's heart was in turmoil. In fact, this was very normal. Lin Xian's wind shadow sword was a high-grade spirit rank artifact, and he had the support of the 70% sword intent and the small success of the concept of wind. His strength was very powerful, comparable to a spirit transformation realm martial artist. Zhao Shui also had the mysterious stone pearl. Her soul attack was even more bizarre. With the two of them working together, they put a lot of pressure on jade-faced playboy, both physically and spiritually. Jade-faced playboy's face was gloomy, and the folding fan in his hand was creaking. Now that the blood-robed man was under control, he couldn't do anything even if he wanted to. Do I have to use my trump card? But the side effect of using my trump card is very big. Jade-faced playboy was hesitant. Finally, he gritted his teeth and decided to use his trump card first to get rid of Lin Xian. Thinking of this, he looked at Evil King. Evil King was also looking at him, with a faint smile on his face. Jade-faced playboy only felt a chill in his heart, as if he had been seen through. "Don't worry, I won't interfere in your battle. If you have the ability to kill them, then Evil King's crystal is yours." Evil King's voice was cold. Hearing this, Jade-faced playboy sneered. "Kid, let's see who can save you this time." Without the threat of Evil King, Jade-faced playboy felt less pressure. As long as he used his trump card, he would definitely be able to kill Lin Xian and Zhao Shui. Jade-faced playboy took out 2 red elixirs from his storage ring and quickly swallowed them. The next moment, his momentum increased greatly. His skin turned pink, as bright as peach blossoms. A shocking power gushed out from Jade-faced playboy's body. He has reached the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm. Evil King was surprised. The middle stage of the spirit transformation realm? Lin Xian was shocked. "Hurry up!" He shouted and waved his sword with all his strength. There was a huge gap between the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm and the early stage of the spirit transformation realm. If Jade-faced playboy reached the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm, then they would have no chance of winning. The stone bead vibrated and Zhao Shui launched a soul attack. The inscriptions in the sky condensed into beams of brilliance, bombarding Jade-faced playboy's soul. Ah! Jade-faced playboy's body trembled and his face became ferocious. His aura also stopped. Although he had not reached the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm, he was not far away. Next, I will let you know what fear is. Jade-faced playboy's whole body turned pink and was surrounded by the essence of peach blossoms. He sneered and stepped out. In an instant, he was in front of Lin Xian. "So fast!" Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He quickly used the dragon inverse steps and dodged quickly with the help of the black cloak. The air fluctuated and dazzling light burst out from Jade-faced playboy's palm. Boom! Lin Xian tried his best to dodge, but his body was still grazed by the palm wind. Suddenly, he felt that his internal organs were all vibrating and his body was about to explode. "Weak," Jade-faced playboy said coldly. Boom! Lin Xian's body hit the wall and turned into a pile of rubble. "Lin Xian!" Zhao Shui shouted anxiously. Jade-faced playboy flashed again. The folding fan in his hand drew a strange arc and enveloped Zhao Shui in an instant. Illusory fish hand! Zhao Shui waved her hands and struck out a seemingly real palm shadow. In an instant, countless illusory arms appeared in the sky. Moreover, these arms carried the power of the soul, making it impossible to guard against. Slash! The peach blossom folding fan was like a scythe of death. It cut off all the palm shadows in the sky and then hit Zhao Shui. Zhao Shui quickly formed a hazy moonlight to protect her body, but she was still sent flying by the terrifying force. Ha 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 ha! Even if you 2 ants have treasures in your hands, you are still weak in the face of absolute power. Next, I will let you know what is hell on earth. Jade-faced playboy laughed and walked toward Zhao Shui. At this moment, a cold light flashed from his left side. It's useless. Jade-faced playboy's 5 fingers formed a claw and stretched out quickly. He caught the sword chi in an instant. Buzz! The air vibrated. Lin Xian held the wind shadow sword in his hand and appeared in the void. He was hit by a palm earlier. Fortunately, he had the golden inner armor and the silver thunder body to defend himself. His body was not seriously injured. Humph! Jade-faced playboy snorted and countless peach blossom chi rushed towards Lin Xian. Chapter 421. Lightning Storm. Thunder and lightning appeared on Lin Xian's body. Countless silver thunder and lightning surged, turning the surroundings into a sea of thunder and lightning. However, the peach blossom aura was derived from peach blossoms. Although Lin Xian's thunder and lightning were powerful, He hadn't comprehended the essence of thunder. Therefore, in terms of attack, Lin Xian's silver thunder and lightning couldn't resist the peach blossom aura. In an instant, the silver thunder and lightning were wrapped by the peach blossom aura and quickly dissipated. Wind, thunder, lightning ring. Seeing that the thunder and lightning couldn't resist, Lin Xian had to use the essence of wind. The combination of wind and thunder formed a powerful force that blocked the peach blossom aura. Moreover, he activated 70% of the dragon's sword essence, making the wind shadow sword shine brightly. Countless sword auras flew out and rushed toward Jade-Faced Playboy. Although Jade-Faced Playboy had temporarily increased his cultivation to the peak of the initial stage of the spirit transformation realm, 70% of the dragon's sword essence was still a threat to him. The peach blossom aura protecting his body was cut open, and the endless sword auras were directed at his palm. He had no choice but to retreat. Jade-Faced Playboy waved his sleeve and shot out several cold lights that disappeared into the peach blossom aura. This was his hidden weapon, the peach blossom poisonous needle. Even a warrior of the spirit transformation realm would be seriously injured if hit. He wanted to use the peach blossom aura to cover the traces of the peach blossom poisonous needle. However, Lin Xian's soul power was so powerful that he found the hidden attack with a slight perception. Returning wind whisks willow sword. Fine sword auras like willow branches appeared around his body, forming a sword curtain that blocked all the attacks. At the same time, he held the wind shadow sword with both hands and suddenly stabbed out. Wind Emperor's sword. Endless wind surged and sword auras slashed toward Jade-Faced Playboy. On the other side, Zhao Shui waved her hands and used the illusory fish hand. The black and white yin and yang fishes rotated together, forming the illusory fish picture with a strange illusion. Peach blossom cut. Jade-Faced Playboy's body formed a peach blossom armor. He held a huge folding fan and sent all the attacks flying. However, he was also pushed back by the two forces, and several shocking cracks appeared on the peach blossom armor on his body. Impossible! His sword essence has become stronger. Jade-Faced Playboy looked at the cracks on his armor and frowned. Cut! Lin Xian used the Dragon Rebel step to give chase. Streaks of swift and fierce sword techniques rapidly unfolded in the air. At the same time, he used the concept of wind, causing the surrounding air to condense. Suddenly, Jade-Faced Playboy felt an inexplicable power on his body, making his movements slow down. This is the small success concept of wind. Jade-Faced Playboy was shocked once again. He didn't expect that Lin Xian's artistic conception of scenery had reached the small success realm in just a few days. This kind of concept could completely affect his attack. Jade-Faced Playboy's face was gloomy as the aura in his body surged. He used all of his strength to activate the peach blossom conception and struggled with all his might. The folding fan in his hand slapped towards Lin Xian. The two concepts collided, causing the air to ripple. The terrifying waves spread out in all directions, causing the ground to crack. It was as if the entire mausoleum had been split open from the middle. Cracks that were nearly 1,000 meters long appeared on the ground. As the sword light flashed, Jade-Faced Playboy was enveloped in it. Fantasy moon concept. On the other side, Zhao Shui quickly rushed over. Behind her, a hazy moon rose and pressed down on Jade-Faced Playboy. Another small success concept. Jade-Faced Playboy felt the increased pressure, and his face became extremely ugly. The petals that filled the sky became dim, as if they had lost their luster. You've gone too far. Jade-Faced Playboy's lungs were about to explode. The swift and fierce aura on his body quickly fluctuated, and the peach blossom conception became even more unstable. Is the effect of the medicine about to end? Jade-Faced Playboy's heart tightened. He was able to have such cultivation because of the two pills. However, this trump card had a time limit. Once the time was up, he would enter a period of weakness. Fight. While the medicine was still effective, jade-faced playboy decided to go crazy. He began to burn the spiritual power in his body, deciding to fight to the death. Is he going to fight to the death? The blood-robed man in the distance was controlled by the evil king and couldn't move. However, he was still closely watching the battle. When he saw jade-faced playboy burn his spiritual power, his heart beat wildly. This kind of method was extremely harmful to a warrior's origin. If it wasn't life-threatening, a normal warrior wouldn't use it. Obviously, jade-faced playboy was forced into a desperate situation. It was no wonder. Lin Xian and Zhao Shui had artistic conception that was not inferior to jade-faced playboys. In addition, both of them had treasures in their hands. Their attacking power was close to that of a warrior in the spirit transformation realm. Under the joint attack of the two, jade-faced playboy was suffering unspeakably. If he hadn't taken the pills in advance, he would have been seriously injured and dying. I didn't expect that I would be bullied by two brats after decades of roaming the Jianghu. Today, even if I have to pay a painful price, I will kill both of you. Jade-faced playboy was completely out of control. The surrounding air vibrated, and the surrounding spiritual qi quickly merged into his body. Jade-faced playboy's body was full of spiritual qi, like a dancing flame. Not good. This guy is going to fight to the death. Lin Xian shouted in a low voice. Attack with all your strength. You must kill him. Jade-faced playboy had chased him several times. Lin Xian had long wanted to kill him. Now was the best time to get rid of him. The spiritual qi all over the sky merged into jade-faced playboy's body, forming a 100-meter long folding fan behind him. There were countless peach blossoms carved on it. Take my strongest attack, Peach Blossom Annihilation Slash. Jade-faced playboy waved his hands and fell towards the front of the battle zone. The 100-meter, tall, huge folding fan behind him also fell abruptly with his movements. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. The wind shadow sword quickly drew an indescribable trajectory in the void. The clouds in the sky rolled, and a huge heavenly sword was formed. It carried a terrifying pressure, as if it could destroy everything. Gale lightning sword, one sword to break mountains and rivers. The wind shadow sword fell, and the heavenly sword in the sky also slashed down with an endless momentum. On the other side, Zhao Shui merged with a stone bead and shot out a strange talisman. The talisman looked simple, but it contained a terrifying aura. It didn't seem to be weaker than the Gale lightning sword. The three violent forces collided with each other. Suddenly, countless gusts of wind swept up, and a terrifying energy wave spread out quickly. The entire tomb was enveloped and turned into fragments. Boom! The destruction continued, and it spread to an extremely far distance. Lin Xian's body emitted silver lightning, and he pulled Zhao Shui back quickly. When everything calmed down, his expression was solemn as he looked forward. The entire tomb was cut open, and terrifying cracks spread out in all directions. Other than the place where the evil king sat, the other places had turned into ruins. In front of him, there was a terrifying deep pit with traces of destructive aura. It was caused by the Gale lightning sword and the stone bead talisman. In the deep pit, a figure with disheveled hair was standing there with blood all over his body. His body was trembling as if he could fall at any time. Earth-level martial arts. It's actually an Earth-level martial arts. Jade-faced playboy's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with fear. Under the attacks of the two people, he suffered severe internal injuries. Fortunately, his cultivation was profound, and he managed to survive. Who are you? You actually know an Earth-level martial arts. Jade-faced playboy's voice carried a trace of fear. Chapter 4:22. Earth-level martial arts were extremely precious in the entire Tianan region. Only some of the top sects had access to them. Furthermore, only a small number of disciples in the sects could learn them. You are about to die. You don't need to know anything. Lin Xian slowly walked over with the wind shadow sword. Don't kill me. I don't want it. I don't want anything. Please let me live. Jade-faced Playboy's body trembled as he began to beg for mercy. Now you know how to beg for mercy. Don't you think it's too late? Lin Xian sneered. When you were chasing me, did you ever think that one day you would be killed by someone else? Lin Xian was like the god of death, carrying an endless murderous aura. However, when Lin Xian was 10 meters away from Jade-faced Playboy, who was originally begging for mercy, revealed a gloomy expression. Brat, even if I die, I will drag you down with me. He opened his arms and pounced on Lin Xian like an octopus. Furthermore, he burned all of his blood essence and turned it into a blood-red ball, quickly pouncing over. Jade-faced Playboy wanted to perish together with Lin Xian. Not good. Retreat. Zhao Shui anxiously shouted from behind. Perish together? Lin Xian's expression was cold. He quickly waved the wind shadow sword and countless green sword shadows flashed in the air. I won't give you any chance. The sky full of green sword shadows merged into one and instantly slashed through Jade-faced Playboy's body. Jade-faced Playboy's body, which was originally flying in the air, suddenly stiffened and then slowly slid down. An extremely fine sword mark appeared between his eyebrows. Plop! Jade-faced Playboy fell to the ground, but no blood flowed. An expert in the spirit transformation realm died just like that. The blood-robed man's face was full of shock. He felt that it was unreal. He actually killed someone who was in a higher realm. This brat's strength is too heaven-defying. He was extremely shocked. He was now in a very dangerous situation. If the evil king made a move, he would most likely die here. Just as he was struggling with all his might, a cold gaze looked at him. Suddenly, the blood-robed man's body trembled as if he was being pierced by thousands of swords. Lin Xian! He roared through gritted teeth. At this moment, Lin Xian was too sharp. He was like an unsheathed divine sword, causing people's hearts to turn cold. The crimson-robed man felt a trace of fear in his heart. He looked at Lin Xian, who was gradually approaching him, and secretly channeled his spirit energy, preparing to launch his strongest attack. Xiao Xuanzi, kill this three-headed vermilion blood bird first. Its body contains the wind and thunder attribute, which can increase the power of your wind and thunder swords, said Lord Alcohol via voice transmission. Another upgrade. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He stared at the 3 vermilion blood birds beside the blood-robed man. Immediately, the strange bird felt uneasy and began to cry out. The head in the center emitted purple flames that crashed into the restrictions in all directions. Brat, what do you think you're doing? The crimson-robed man was shocked. Lin Xian's gaze was too frightening. He had a bad premonition. Let me tell you, this 3-headed bird has an extraordinary background. It's not something you can provoke. I advise you to give up on this idea. Otherwise, a great disaster will befall you. The crimson-robed man wasn't lying. Although he was a spirit transformation realm warrior, his true identity was the servant of the 3-headed vermilion blood bird. His goal in coming to the Tianan region was to awaken all 3 heads of the 3-headed vermilion blood bird and bring it back to his family. However, Lin Xian didn't care. This crimson-robed man had tried to kill him many times, so he wouldn't show mercy. Can you release this strange bird alone? Lin Xian asked Diablo's corpse. Diablo's remnant consciousness paused for a moment before saying, "These 3 vermilion blood birds indeed have an extraordinary background. If I remember correctly, they should be from a terrifying family in the Tianwu region. Fated One, are you really going to kill them? If you kill them, you might face unexpected dangers when you go to the Tianwu region in the future. Don't worry, Lin Xian said in a low voice. Only one of us can survive. Diablo's corpse sighed and didn't force him. He waved his arms and forcibly separated the three-headed vermilion blood bird. Kid, how dare you? The crimson-robed man shouted crazily as he used all his strength to resist Diablo's restriction. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't escape. The three-headed vermilion blood bird landed on the ground and let out a sharp cry. Purple, inextinguishable flames rose around its body, exuding a terrifying heat. The pair of cold eyes stared at Lin Xian, filled with malice. It took the initiative to attack. A purple flame as thick as a chopstick flew out and arrived in front of Lin Xian in an instant. He pulled out the Wind Shadow Sword and stabbed at the purple flame. The Wind Emperor's sword flashed and slashed at the purple flame. Instantly, a sizzling sound was heard. Lin Xian's great dragon sword could destroy everything. Back then, he had extinguished the five-colored peacock's eternal flame. Now that his strength had increased greatly, it was easier for him to deal with the purple flame. As the sword light fell, the purple flames were sliced in half and dissipated in the sky. What? Impossible! The crimson-robed man in the cage was shocked. He knew the power of the purple flame. Even a warrior in the spirit transformation realm would find it difficult to destroy it. However, Lin Xian had destroyed the eternal flame with a single slash. This made him feel even more desperate. Kid, if you heard it, the Divine Bird Clan won't let you go. The crimson-robed man's voice was unusually cold. Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. He didn't know how a dead person would send the news back. He held the sword with one hand and used the dragon counterstep. He quickly arrived in front of the three-headed vermilion blood bird and stabbed out with the Wind Shadow Sword. In an instant, the three-headed vermilion blood bird's feathers stood up. Purple flames the size of a fingernail rose from each of them, forming a sea of purple flames in front of them. At the same time, flames flew in all directions. Returning wind whisks willow sword. The sword light circled and formed a solid defense. Lin Xian faced it head-on. Countless sword chi slashed down, tearing the void like a cloth. It couldn't be helped. The 70% dragon sword intent was too terrifying. Furthermore, the three-headed vermilion blood bird hadn't fully matured. In an instant, the dazzling sword chi split the sea of purple flames and slashed at the head in the middle. Whoosh! The three-headed vermilion blood bird flapped its wings and dodged quickly. Moreover, the second head on the left trembled slightly as if it could wake up at any time. Seeing this, the crimson-robed man heaved a sigh of relief. Although the three-headed vermilion blood bird needed a large amount of energy to wake up, he would also wake up the second head in a crisis. Doing so would cause a lot of damage, but it was worth it to save his life. Kid, if it wakes up with the second head, I'm afraid even a warrior in the spirit transformation realm would find it difficult to fight against it. Lord Alcohol reminded. Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned and increased his speed again. He turned into a sword beam and attacked the three-headed vermilion blood bird. Little White! Lin Xian shouted. The snow-white monkey's body shook and disappeared instantly. When it reappeared, it was already beside the three-headed vermilion blood bird. Its furry little paw slapped the second head that was about to wake up. Hum! An extremely strange dizziness was unleashed by the snow-white monkey. The second head that was about to wake up fell asleep again. Oh no! The crimson-robed man was alarmed. Chapter 4:23. Under normal circumstances, there shouldn't be any external factors that could stop the second head from awakening. However, the snow-white monkey had actually stopped the awakening process with a single swipe of its claw. This completely overturned the blood-robed man's understanding. The The three-headed vermilion blood bird was both shocked and furious. The head in the middle let out an ear-piercing, demonic sound that spread in all directions. As an ancient mutant, its potential was limitless. If it could awaken its second head, it would be as easy as blowing off dust to kill the detestable human in front of it. However, the snow-white monkey seemed to be its nemesis. It was actually able to stop its awakening. The three-headed vermilion blood bird was very intelligent. At this moment, its eyes were filled with malice. Even if it failed once, it still had a chance to awaken again. The three-headed vermilion blood bird moved quickly, preparing to awaken its second head. At this moment, Lin Xian's sword arrived. The sword beam was like a rainbow as it instantly pierced the middle head. The 70% dragon sword intent condensed into an azure dragon phantom and sank into the middle head. Poof! Blood splattered as the middle head was mercilessly sliced open. No, the blood-robed man screamed crazily. A sea of blood surged around his body as he frantically attacked the restriction. Ripples floated and appeared on the restriction. The evil king frowned slightly. "Fated one, hurry up. I don't have much time left." Upon hearing that, Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat. He rotated his sword, and the middle head completely exploded. "Kid, you're dead meat. No one can save you." The blood-robed man quickly burned his spiritual energy and struck out with a terrifying attack. The sea of blood slammed into the restriction. With each collision, the light of the restriction dimmed a little. "Don't even think about leaving today." Lin Xian's voice was cold. He took out the black scabbard and absorbed the purple flame in the middle head according to the method Lord Alcohol had taught him. Then his sword moved again. Lin Xian slashed at the second head. The head split open, and a dark green stream of air rapidly revolved. Its power was far above his wind concept. The second head contained the wind attribute. Lin Xian was as fast as lightning as he absorbed the wind into the black scabbard. The black scabbard was indeed mysterious. After absorbing the terrifying energy, it did not have much of a reaction. Only a faint glow appeared on its surface. The blood-robed man had gone completely mad. He burned his essence blood without any regard for his life, unleashing his strongest attack. Boom! The evil king's restriction was broken, and the blood-robed man appeared in the sky again. "Fated one, I can only help you this much." Once he finished speaking, Evil King's corpse fell back into the coffin. After the blood-robed man broke free from the restriction, he pounced on Lin Xian like a madman. At this moment, Lin Xian cut open the third head with his sword. A streak of golden lightning flashed and was absorbed into the black scabbard. Since then, the three heads of the three-headed crimson blood bird had been completely destroyed by Lin Xian, and the three types of energy had also been absorbed by him. The crimson-robed man's body trembled. He threw himself to the side of the three-headed crimson blood bird, hugging the blood-red corpse and howling into the sky. His voice was like a demonic diamond, causing people's scalps to go numb. "Brat, even if you die 10,000 times, you won't be able to make up for your sins." The crimson-robed man was like a demon, his entire body covered in a layer of scarlet blood. An aura that far surpassed jade-faced playboys gushed out from his body, burning spiritual power. Lin Xian frowned. The wind shadow sword quickly drew strange strokes in the air. It was obvious that the crimson-robed man didn't want to live anymore. He just wanted to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian also used his strongest attack at this moment, the Gale Lightning Sword. In the clouds, the firmament giant's sword flashed again, emitting a mysterious and ancient aura. The wind shadow sword fell, as if it could cut through mountains and rivers. Blood stains the firmament. The crimson-robed man ignited all the qi and blood in his body and blasted both his hands toward Lin Xian. In the sky, a blood-red waterfall hung upside down. An extremely strange and terrifying energy gushed out, as if it was going to tear it apart. The gale lightning sword quickly slashed down. The sea of blood surged, and countless blood flowers appeared. However, this was an attack that the crimson-robed man used with all his might. It was far stronger than before. Although the gale lightning sword was an earth-tier martial art, it was still blocked at this moment. "Brett, I'll kill you." The crimson-robed man's voice was vicious. "Gale, lightning sword, double sword star, annihilation." Lin Xian growled, pulled out the star extinction sword, and swung it again. In the sky, a huge sword shadow appeared beside the firmament giant sword again, tearing the entire sky apart. The two swords slashed down together, as if they could destroy the stars. An extremely terrifying energy gushed out and instantly enveloped the crimson-robed man. The sword light danced, and the blood light filled the air. A shocking explosion occurred in the air. Zhao Xue's face turned pale, and she quickly retreated with the Diablo's coffin. The entire Diablo's tomb was completely destroyed. The two swords were too powerful. Even the crimson-robed man who was burning his blood essence could not resist. Lin Xian's face turned pale. Although the two swords were powerful, they consumed more than half of his spiritual power in an instant. Sheathing the wind and thunder swords, Lin Xian quickly searched his soul. The 3 crimson bloodbirds had been killed, and the crimson-robed man beside him was split in half. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. He turned his body and quickly left this place. Then he put away the Diablo's coffin and quickly left the Diablo's tomb with Zhao Xue. Not long after the two left, the remaining blood on the crimson-robed man's corpse quickly rolled, wrapped around the 3 crimson bloodbirds, and disappeared. In the demonic mountain there was a colorful palace. It was full of multicolored light, like an immortal palace. However, there was a roar in the seemingly sacred palace. "The disciple who was training in the Tianan region has died. No matter who killed him, bring him back to face the death penalty. Everything related to him must be destroyed. I want the world to know that the disciples of the Divine Bird Palace are not to be killed as they wish." This voice carried endless pressure, and it spread to every corner of the palace. Suddenly, several fiery red figures with extremely powerful auras quickly left the palace. This happened far away, so Lin Xian naturally did not know. He had already left the Diablo's tomb and was meditating in a nearby cave. This training could be said to be a great harvest. Not only did he collect a lot of treasures, but he also obtained 2 supreme treasures. One was the Wind Shadow Sword, a high-grade spiritual treasure. This sword was extraordinary, and it allowed him to fight against spirit transformation experts. The other was the Diablo's crystal. As long as he was given some time, he could use the energy in the crystal to break through to the late harmonious spirit realm. The Diablo's crystal not only contained pure energy, but also all the inheritance of the Diablo. This included cultivation methods and martial techniques. In terms of cultivation methods, Lin Xian's art of longevity was very powerful, and he did not need other cultivation methods to replace it. However, he could learn martial techniques from them. Moreover, the Diablo also cultivated both sword and soul, which was very similar to him. One of them was the Phantom Sword Art, which was a unique sword art that combined sword arts and illusions. This sword art made Lin Xian very happy. He had high attainments in both sword arts and soul arts, so he quickly mastered the Phantom Sword Art. In addition, Lord Alcohol also created a lightning sword art for his star extinction sword, the 3000 Lightning Haste. While Lin Xian was learning and comprehending the sword art, he also used the 3 types of energy in the scabbard to temper the sword and the black scabbard. Chapter 4:24. He had to admit that the 3-headed crimson bloodbird was indeed amazing. The three attributes in its body were very unique, allowing Lin Xian's Wind Shadow Sword and Star of Extinction sword to be upgraded. Although the grade did not change, the quality had improved by a large margin. Moreover, the black scabbard had also changed greatly. Other than the wind and thunder attributes, there seemed to be a ball of fire attribute slowly forming. Apart from that, there was another martial art that caught Lin Xian's attention. The Illusionary Demon Steps was an Earth-class martial art, known for its speed and agility. It was one of the Heretic King's ultimate martial arts. Earth-class martial arts was a martial art that could tempt even spirituality realm martial artists. There were only a few Earth-class martial arts in the entire Longshan Kingdom. Back then, the Heretic King had relied on the Illusionary Demon Steps to escape the pursuit of powerful enemies. Otherwise, he would have been dead long ago. Lin Xian knew the power of Earth-class martial arts. His Gale Lightning Sword was an Earth-class martial art. It was extremely powerful and could kill enemies above his level. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to learn the Illusionary Demon Steps to replace the Dragon Rebel Steps. However, he kept the powerful Dragon Rebel 7 Steps. After sorting out his gains, he gave some of the treasures to Zhao Shui. "What do you plan to do next?" Zhao Shui asked with a smile. "I came to Longshan Kingdom to get a spot to join the Green Dragon Association. I'll be going to Barren Flame City next." "Green Dragon Association? Hee, I want to join too. You have to go easy on me when you meet me." Zhao Shui glanced at him seductively. "You want to join too? Do you have a spot?" Lin Xian asked. "I should have enough by the time I get back. Those who join the Green Dragon Association are all geniuses. Their strength is beyond your imagination. You can't be careless," Zhao Shui reminded him seriously. Then the two ate and chatted. Before they knew it, the night had passed. "I'm leaving. Don't miss me," Zhao Shui whispered into Lin Xian's ear. Then she left quickly. Lin Xian also sorted out his emotions and prepared for what was to come next. There was only half a year left before the Green Dragon Association. He had to hurry. But before that, Lin Xian wanted to find a few beasts in the nearby forest to practice his swordsmanship. He mainly wanted to test out the power of the two sword techniques he had just learned: Phantom Sword and Lightning Haste. The former was soft and sinister, and even had an illusory attack. The latter was violent and domineering, and its attacks were bold and powerful. The two sword techniques were completely different, and the way they were executed was also very different. In the forest, a 30-meter-long illusion demon butterfly flapped its wings and stared at Lin Xian. This was a type of demonic beast that specialized in illusions. Its attacks were very strange, and ordinary harmonious spirit realm warriors were no match for it. Lin Xian planned to use it to test the Phantom Sword. As he swung his long sword, sword shadows filled the air. Among the sword chi, there were both real and fake. It was hard to tell what was real and what was not. Moreover, although these sword chis appeared to be chaotic, they actually contained an illusory formation, which could often cause the enemy to inadvertently fall into the illusion and be easily killed. This sword technique could be said to be Evil King's famous sword technique. The illusory swordsmanship deceived the illusion demon butterfly. That strange attack gave the illusory demon butterfly a headache. The illusory sword chi formed a strange sword formation and killed the illusory demon butterfly. Lin Xian put away the demon crystal from the illusion demon butterfly and started to search for demonic beasts again. This time, he planned to test the power of the 3,000 lightning haste. With the help of his soul force, he quickly found a demonic beast that he was satisfied with. The Earthcrack rock tortoise was a demonic beast that was famous for its defense. It was as tough as a diamond. It was said that although this demonic beast was only at the 7th grade, harmonious spirit realm warriors would not be able to break its defense. Only a spirit transformation realm warrior could kill it. The Earthcrack rock tortoise that was as big as a boat, looked at Lin Xian with a disdainful expression. It directly ignored Lin Xian. In its eyes, a mid-harmonious spirit realm human was not enough to break its defense. That attack was just like scratching an itch. Lin Xian moved quickly and pulled out the star extinction sword. The sword chi turned into a thunderclap that shook the entire sky. The sword slashed through the air and turned into lightning. The earthcrack, rock, tortoise shrunk its body and hid in its hard shell. Boom! Like 3,000 lightning bolts, the terrifying sword light bombarded the rock tortoise's shell, emitting a dazzling light. This sword was too violent. Countless sword marks were left on the tortoise's shell. The earthcrack rock tortoise's body was severely injured. At this moment, it finally revealed a terrified expression. The human in front of it was too strong. The power of that sword strike was even more terrifying than a spirit transformation realm warrior. Luckily, the human did not have the intention to continue attacking. That was why it was able to keep its life. Lin Xian was very satisfied with this result. Whether it was the phantom sword or the 3,000 lightning haste, the power of these sword arts was beyond his expectations. Previously, he mainly used the Wind Emperor's one sword and the 9 azure cloud swords. He also had the outer sky meteor. Now that he had 2 more sword arts, it could be said that he did not have any weaknesses in sword arts. In terms of body movement, he had a new earth, rank martial art, the phantom demonic steps. Perhaps even a spirit transformation realm warrior would not be able to withstand it. In terms of defense, he had the silver lightning body and the golden inner armor. With the combination of the two, he could withstand the attack of a spirit transformation realm warrior. It could be said that Lin Xian's current state was at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Next, it's time to go to the desolate Flame City. Lin Xian summoned Xiao Jin and rushed toward the desolate Flame City. The Star Dragon Strong Country was divided into 8 counties. The desolate Flame City was one of the more famous cities in the Heaven Desolate County. After leaving the forest, Lin Xian saw a huge city standing on a plain. The dark red city walls were like a 1,000-year-old volcano exuding an ancient aura. Entering the city, there were many people coming and going. It was very lively. There were young warriors coming and going everywhere. They were chatting and laughing with a sense of vitality. As Lin Xian passed by, he heard a few words. It seemed that the desolate Flame City was hosting a gathering of young warriors. That was why there were so many young warriors gathered here. However, this had nothing to do with him. He came to the desolate Flame City to find Iron Hand and fulfill his wish. It was easy to find the Great Banner Sect. Lin Xian only needed to see which building had the symbol of the Iron Blood Banner. Moreover, with the Great Banner Sect status, it would definitely not be in an ordinary corner. Therefore, Lin Xian directly walked toward the most prosperous area in the city. Sure enough, Lin Xian saw a magnificent building in the center of the city. There was a bronze banner on top of the building. The blood-red banner fluttered in the wind, making a loud noise. "Stop! This is the Great Banner Sect's restricted area. Unrelated people, leave at once!" The gatekeeper shouted coldly, "I'm looking for Sir Iron Hand." Lin Xian took out the Great Banner token and placed it in front of him. Great Banner token! The guard's pupils shrank. He looked at Lin Xian with astonishment. After a while, he respectfully said, "Young master, please forgive us. We were reckless earlier. Please come in." The Great Banner token was not an ordinary item in the Great Banner Sect. Normally, only the elders with high status could issue it. Lin Xian's token was even more peculiar. It was obvious that Sir Iron Hand had personally issued it. How could they afford to neglect such a character? Chapter 4:25. Leading Lin Xian to a living room, the guard respectfully said, "Young master, please have some tea. I will go and inform Sir Iron Hand." Lin Xian nodded and slowly sat down. Soon, a beautiful maid brought him some spirit tea and carefully waited on him. Lin Xian calmly waited. Soon he raised his head, because his soul power sensed an aura quickly approaching. Lin Gongzi, please follow me to the study, the previous guard respectfully said. Under his lead, Lin Xian arrived in front of an independent attic. Young master, please go to the 3rd floor. Lin Xian nodded and pushed the door open. His steps were steady as he walked to the 2nd floor. Sure enough, in the study on the 2nd floor he saw a tall figure, dressed in a black robe. His face was as cold as a knife, carrying the dignity of a superior. It was Sir Iron Hand. Greetings, senior. Lin Xian slightly bowed. You've come. Iron Hand slightly nodded. You helped me take out that blood-red flag. So if you have any requests, just say it. Then I thank Senior. Lin Xian smiled and said, I want to ask Senior to help me find a person. Oh, who is it? Iron Hand was slightly surprised. He originally thought that Lin Xian would ask for a treasure weapon, martial arts, cultivation method, etc. He didn't expect that he would ask for a person. This person is called Zhang Sanfeng. He is over 50 years old and has been to the Heavenly Mountain Country. Hearing this, Sir Iron Hand's body stiffened. His aura suddenly erupted, shattering the nearby tables and chairs. However, his face quickly returned to normal, and the violent aura also disappeared. Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't know why Iron Hand would have such a violent reaction. Could it be that Zhang Sanfeng had a grudge against him? For a moment, his heart was filled with anxiety. This was almost his last chance. The remaining time didn't allow him to find another way. If this time didn't work, he could only try the dragon platform. Iron Arms slowly stood up and looked over. Lin Xian was startled. Although Iron Arms did not release any aura, he felt as if a mountain was standing in front of him, suffocating him. However, he had seen many big scenes. Moreover, he had the great dragon sword and tent, so he was naturally immune to such pressure. Therefore, in front of Iron Arms, he was calm and collected. Seeing Lin Xian's performance, Iron Arms was slightly surprised. To have such willpower at such a young age was truly commendable. Who allowed you to come here? Why are you looking for Zhang Sanfeng? Master Han Lei, the alchemy master of the Tianshan Kingdom, asked me to come. Lin Xian said as he took out the token that old man DK had given him. I came to look for Zhang Sanfeng because of the Azure Dragon Association's quota. Seeing the token in Lin Xian's hand, Iron Hand's eyes narrowed, as if he had fallen into deep thought. After a while, he sighed and said slowly, Don't look for this person anymore. Zhang Sanfeng is already dead. Dead. Lin Xian was surprised. The person he was looking for was dead. Then what about his quota? However, Iron Arm's next words made him feel more at ease. Although I can't help you find Zhang Sanfeng, I can help you with the quota for the Azure Dragon Association. Really? Lin Xian was overjoyed. He was looking for Zhang Sanfeng because of the Azure Dragon Association's quota. Now that Iron Arms could help, it couldn't be better. Iron Arms said in a deep voice, As one of the 6 top forces of the Longxing Kingdom, the Great Flag Sect has a quota for the Azure Dragon Association every time. I can recommend you to participate in the competition, but you have to show me the corresponding strength. Otherwise, I can't help you. Corresponding strength? Lin Xian was confused. What kind of strength do I need? Although he didn't know the top forces of the Longxing Kingdom's younger generation, he was still very confident in his own strength. I want you to be famous in the desolate Flame City. Iron Arms said, If you can't even do this, then I can't help you. Famous in the desolate Flame City, Lin Xian whispered. Then his eyes shone with a shocking light. I promise you. Recently, there's a tea garden competition in the city. Can you go there and try? Yun Duo. Iron Arms shouted. Immediately a young girl came into the study and said respectfully, "Sir, please give me your orders. Take him down and arrange a place for him to stay. Also, take him to the tea garden competition in 2 days." Yun Duo looked at the broken pieces of the table and chair on the ground in surprise. Then she respectfully agreed. "Young master, please follow me." After bidding farewell to Iron Arms, Lin Xian followed Yun Duo out of the pavilion and walked into the depths of the palace. "This is your room. If you have nothing to do, just stay here and don't wander around. I'll take you to the tea garden competition in 3 days." Yun Duo turned and left after saying that. "Wait a minute," Lin Xian said. "What's the matter?" Yun Duo turned around with a trace of impatience in her eyes. When she saw the broken table and chair in the study, she guessed that it was caused by Sir Iron Arm's anger. A person who could make Sir Iron Arms angry was definitely not a good person. Therefore, Yun Duo didn't have a good attitude towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't mind and asked in a deep voice, "What is the purpose of this tea garden competition?" "You don't know?" Yun Duo was surprised, then she looked at him seriously. She sensed Lin Xian's mid-harmonious spirit cultivation and saw his plain clothes. Then she shook her head slightly. Although this cultivation was not bad, it would be hard for him to do anything in the tea garden competition. She really didn't know why Sir Iron Arms would let this kind of person participate in the tea garden competition. Wasn't this just throwing away the face of a famous sect? Then Yun Duo said coldly, "The tea garden competition is a small gathering held regularly by the younger generation of the Heaven Desolate County. It gathers the young geniuses of the Heaven Desolate County." So it's like that. Lin Xian understood. This was an exchange between the young cultivators. "Is there anything else?" Yun Duo said coldly. "If you have any questions, it's best to ask them all at once to avoid trouble." "No." Lin Xian shook his head. Lin Xian didn't care about Yun Duo's attitude. He didn't need to be angry with a little girl. What he needed to do now was to adjust his condition and prepare for the tea garden competition 3 days later. In these 3 days, Lin Xian fully comprehended the earth-ranked martial art, phantom steps. With his perception and Lord Zhou's guidance, he could be considered to have grasped the basics of this movement technique. In the blink of an eye, the day of the tea garden competition arrived. On this day, desolate Flame City was unusually lively. Countless young geniuses flocked to the Clear Breeze Tea Garden in the north of the city. This was a grand event, a competition between the younger generation of the Heaven Desolate County. The hosts of this tea garden competition were 2 top powers, the Star Ocean Sect and the Duan clan. The Star Ocean Sect was one of the 3 great sects of the Dragon Star Country, one of the 6 top powers. The Duan clan was also one of the 4 great clans with a prominent position. These 2 powers were extremely important. The tea garden competition they held attracted almost 90% of the young geniuses of the Heaven Desolate County. Chapter 4:26. At this moment, the Breeze Tea Garden was already crowded with people. It was very lively. As far as the eye could see, they were all young warriors. These people had strong qi and blood, and their cultivation were all above the harmonious spirit realm. With this kind of strength, they would be at the level of sect elders in Xia Country. One had to admit that the martial Tao of Dragon Star Country was very strong. This morning, Lin Xian followed Yun Duo out. The 2 of them went to the Breeze Tea Garden. Along the way, Yun Duo was excited and kept repeating Duan Wuqing's name. This made Lin Xian a little curious. Who is Duan Wuqing? Humph. If you don't even know who Duan Wuqing is, then why are you participating in the tea garden gathering? Yun Duo snorted. Listen carefully. Duan Wuqing is the young master of the Duan family. He has a prominent background. He is one of the hosts of this tea garden competition. He is my idol. Yun Duo's eyes were full of stars. So that's how it is. A disciple of one of the 4 great families and a host of the tea garden. It seems like his status is very high. If I defeat him, I should be able to become famous in desolate Flame City, right? Lin Xian thought. The fastest way to become famous was to challenge a famous warrior. And this Duan Wuqing was one of the best targets. A smile appeared on the corner of Lin Xian's mouth. He was looking forward to the tea garden gathering. Seeing Lin Xian smile, Yun Duo snorted disdainfully. Country bumpkin. Young Master Duan can defeat you with just 1 finger. Also, although I don't know why Lord Iron Hand wants you to participate in the tea garden gathering, I still have to warn you. This tea garden gathering will gather many geniuses. You should go and gain some knowledge. Don't fight with others, or else you will embarrass the Great Flag Sect. After saying that, she ignored Lin Xian and quickened her pace. Lin Xian shook his head and calmly followed behind her. Miss, please wait. Do you have an invitation? At the entrance of the tea garden, 2 young men in embroidered clothes smiled. The tea garden gathering was very high standard. Not everyone could participate. These 2 people were responsible for chasing away those who tried to sneak in. Yun Duo took out an invitation and handed it over. So you're from the Great Flag Sect. Please come in. The 2 young men smiled warmly. Like a proud little princess, Yun Duo walked into the tea garden with her head held high. At this moment, a voice came from behind again. Dear guest, where is your invitation? Lin Xian rubbed his nose helplessly and said, I came with her. He pointed at the clouds. Together. The young man's face revealed a suspicious look, as if he didn't believe it. It was no wonder. The guests who came and went were all dressed in luxurious clothes. They were either rich or respectable. It was rare to see someone like Lin Xian who was dressed simply. What was the cloud wearing? That was made from precious demonic beast materials. They all had a certain defensive function. On the other hand, Lin Xian's clothes were ordinary clothes. How could the 2 of them come together? Brat, this is the tea garden gathering. I advise you not to cause trouble here. The 2 of them sneered. Cause trouble. Lin Xian was displeased. These people really looked down on him. Yun Duo heard the commotion and turned her head. She sighed. Let him in. The 2 young men were slightly surprised. They unwillingly made way for him. How can this poor brat be related to Great Flag? I think he's most likely a servant. The 2 of them whispered to each other. They agreed that Lin Xian was Yun Tu's servant. All right, since you're in the tea garden, you can take a look at the rest. I'm going to find my sisters to play. Don't make a move. Go back after you're done. Yun Duo hurriedly ran away after giving her orders. Lin Xian found a pavilion and prepared to conserve his energy. There were exquisite snacks and spirit wine in the pavilion for the young martial artists to enjoy. After he sat down, he began to secretly size up these martial artists. Then he was slightly speechless. These martial artists were all at the harmonious spirit realm. Most of them were at the mid-harmonious spirit realm. There were also some late harmonious spirit realm martial artists. Could it be that Yun Duo didn't allow him to make a move? A mid-harmonious spirit realm martial artist was nothing here. As expected of the young generation's geniuses, there are so many young experts. Lin Xian was surprised. One had to know that these were only the experts of one county. There were 8 counties in the Dragon Star country. Moreover, the core disciples of those top sects wouldn't participate in this kind of gathering. At least, Lin Xian didn't see any disciples from Great Flag sect participating. I wonder how strong the top young experts of the Dragon Star country are? Thinking of this, his blood boiled. Speaking of which, Lin Xian was only 18 years old this year. He had just entered the youth team. Although he looked calm, he had a hot-blooded and warlike heart. Fight against the peerless geniuses and comprehend the supreme martial Tao. This was the goal that every martial artist pursued with all their might. However, at this moment, an extremely discordant voice was heard. "I'm so tired. Senior brother, I want to rest. I want to sit there." A coquettish voice was heard. "All right, junior sister, as you wish." Then a young man walked in front of Lin Xian and shouted coldly, "You get lost!" Lin Xian frowned and looked back. He saw a man and a woman standing behind him. They were dressed in luxurious clothes and wore luxurious accessories. One look and one could tell that they were from a prestigious family. The two of them had arrogant expressions and looked at Lin Xian with disdain. How can a country bumpkin come in? What are the gatekeepers doing? The flirtatious woman mocked. "Kid, I'm in a good mood. Get lost. This isn't a place for you to sit." The young man was very arrogant. Lin Xian didn't cause trouble, but he wasn't afraid of it either. He was sitting there perfectly fine. How could he not be angry when he was threatened and looked down on for no reason? He immediately snorted coldly. "Apologize, or you'll have to bear the consequences. Are you threatening me?" The young man was so angry that he laughed. "Do you know who I am? How dare you make me apologize to a servant like you? You have a death wish. Get lost, or I'll slap you to death. No one will care about a nobody like you even if you die." The flirtatious woman sneered as well. "Senior brother, why are you wasting your breath on him? Just slap him to death." Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "Am I that easy to bully? Aren't you afraid of kicking an iron plate?" "Iron plate." The young man laughed arrogantly. "In the Heaven Desolate County, other than the Star Ocean sect and the Duan family, there's no one that my Yanling school is afraid of. Who do you think you are? How dare you call yourself an iron plate? Late harmonious spirit realm. Is this what gives you the right to be so arrogant?" Lin Xian sneered. "I won't leave. If you want to fight, you can try." After saying that, he ignored the two and slowly tasted the spirit wine. Who is this kid? Isn't he too arrogant? The others in the pavilion looked over. Isn't that Luo Yang from the Yanling school? I heard that he is one of the top young experts in the Yanling school. He reached the late harmonious spirit realm at the age of 20. That's right. I heard that his comprehension is very high. He has a high chance of entering the spirit transformation realm. I heard that he fought against a spirit transformation realm warrior and was able to hold on for more than 10 moves. Chapter 4:27. The surrounding cultivators discussed among themselves. Apparently, they all knew this arrogant young man. Reaching the late harmonious spirit realm at the age of 20 was indeed a genius. That kid is dead for sure after offending the genius of Yanling's sect. That goes without saying. Look at his clothes. He's definitely not a disciple of any sect or aristocratic family. He's probably a rogue cultivator. A rogue cultivator is still so arrogant. Luck at his chi. He's only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm. Who knows? Maybe he's just an ignorant kid who doesn't know how powerful Luo Yang is. Kid, did you hear that? I'll give you one more chance. Kowtow and admit your mistake, and I'll spare your life. Luo Yang was unusually arrogant. Get lost. Lin Xian's expression was cold as he spat out the words clearly. The surrounding crowd was shocked. Who is this kid? He still dared to scold Luo Yang even after knowing his identity. Kid, you're courting death. Luo Yang was furious. He raised his palm and a terrifying force gushed out. Lin Xian bent his fingers, ready to shoot out a sword chi at any time. If Luo Yang really attacked, he wouldn't mind crippling his cultivation. Just as Luo Yang's palm was about to land, a loud laughter came from outside the pavilion. Haha, isn't this Brother Luo? Where have you been? I've been looking for you. A young man in white walked through the crowd and slowly walked over. The young man was wearing a white robe with the word Duan on his chest. He grabbed Luo Yang with a warm expression. "Brother Luo, come, let's have a few drinks." "Oh, it's Brother Duan." Luo Yang put down his palm and smiled. When the crowd saw the young man in white, they looked at each other and didn't dare to make a sound. "Kid, you're lucky this time. I'll let you live a little longer. However, I'll let you know how powerful I am later." Luo Yang looked at Lin Xian and sneered. "What's going on? Who dares to offend Brother Luo?" The young man in white's face darkened as he looked at Lin Xian with cold eyes. "Forget it. I'll deal with this myself." Luo Yang revealed a sinister smile and left with the seductive woman beside him. Lin Xian sneered. This guy didn't know that he was still alive. If the other party dared to make a move, he would teach him an unforgettable lesson. This small disturbance passed quickly, and the whole tea garden was bustling with noise and excitement. Soon, two young men appeared with a large group of supporters behind them. "Look, young Master Wu Qing. It's young Master Wu Qing." Suddenly, screams rang out in the tea garden. The young girls were screaming crazily. They wanted nothing more than to throw themselves into the arms of the young man in white. Lin Xian looked up and saw two figures standing proudly in the crowd. The person on the left was a young man in a white robe. He had a handsome face and a graceful bearing. When he raised his hand, there was a noble and arrogant air about him. Needless to say, that person was Duan Wu Qing. "Peak harmonious spirit realm, I hope you won't disappoint me." Lin Xian's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself. Then he looked at the person on the right. It was a blue-robed youth with a saber on his back. His appearance was ordinary, but his eyes were as sharp as swords, making people not dare to look at him directly. There was a sharp aura circulating around his body. Saber intent. This person has comprehended saber intent. Lin Xian secretly observed. He had comprehended sword intent, so he was very sensitive to both sword intent and saber intent. In addition, the blue-robed youth didn't deliberately hide his sharp aura, so Lin Xian could clearly sense it. This person is also at the peak of harmonious spirit realm, but with saber intent he should be able to fight against a spirit transformation realm warrior. I wonder what level his saber intent has reached? While Lin Xian was observing, Duan Wu Qing slowly opened his mouth. This isn't the first time that everyone has participated in the tea garden gathering, so I won't go into the details. I hope that everyone will stop when it's time to fight and not hurt each other. Everyone nodded their heads in agreement. All right, let's begin. Then Duan Wu Qing and the blue-robed youth sat down and began to watch the competition. Lin Xian wasn't clear about the rules of the tea garden gathering, but luckily there were many first-timers like Lin Xian who explained it to him. The rules are actually very simple, that is, challenge by name. The named cultivators can choose to accept the challenge or not. There's no need to force them to do so. Moreover, if the one who accepts the challenge wins, he can continue the competition. The others can also go back and rest. What kind of rules are these? Isn't this just no rules? Indeed, this is equivalent to no rules. To put it bluntly, this tea garden gathering is a mutual exchange. Some people want to become famous, some want to find out more, and some want to find a partner. That's why the tea garden gathering isn't as strict as other competitions. However, for the sake of face, almost everyone who is named will accept the challenge. After listening, Lin Xian silently nodded. It turned out that he only needed to challenge by name. This was really convenient. He looked at Duan Wu Qing and the blue-robed swordsman in the distance. If he challenged these two and won, he should be able to become famous in desolate Flame City. However, he wasn't in a hurry to challenge them. He just silently watched. There was a place in the tea garden for martial arts competitions. At this moment, there were two people fighting fiercely. Waves of purple ripples were like floating gauze, carrying an endless amount of spiritual energy, sweeping in all directions. On the other side, the sky was filled with palm shadows covering the sky. The two fought fiercely, setting off a terrifying wave of chi that rushed to the sky. In the end, the warrior who used the palm technique won and defeated his opponent with a single palm strike. However, his strength was very precise and didn't injure his opponent. I welcome everyone to challenge me. The victorious yellow-robed youth laughed. Let me. A warrior jumped up high. The long spear in his hand was like a dragon, thrusting forward. Boom! The dazzling spear light was like a rainbow, piercing through the void. Haha, good one. Stormy waves. The yellow-robed youth waved his hands. The wind from his palms contained the sound of waves. The palm shadows were like waves, each wave higher than the previous one. In the end, 7 waves overlapped, forming a terrifying wave that crashed onto the long spear, forcing the spear-wielding warrior to retreat. This is the stormy waves palm. Is this youth a disciple of Heavenly Sea Pavilion? Everyone was discussing. What a terrifying palm force. I seem to hear the sound of waves crashing. That spear-wielding warrior should be a late harmonious spirit expert, but he was sent flying. The Heavenly Sea Pavilion disciple stood in the middle of the field and laughed loudly. Who else wants to challenge me? This was a good opportunity to make a name for himself. He wanted to strike while the iron was hot. What bullshit, Heavenly Sea Pavilion, lose? An extremely domineering voice sounded. Then an illusory figure quickly floated over, moving as fast as a ghost. Mountain embracing palm seal. The figure was unusually domineering. He suddenly launched an attack in the air. The air vibrated, a mountain condensed, like a real mountain, quickly pressing down on the crowd. Everyone was shocked, as if they could feel an endless pressure rolling towards them. Mountain embracing palm seal. That's the secret art of Yanling sect. Is it Luoyang? The yellow-robed youth's expression was solemn. He quickly mobilized the surrounding spiritual energy and waved both of his palms. Chapter 428. Toppling the mountains and overturning the seas. Wave after wave swept across the sky as if the ocean was descending. The collision between the ocean and the mountain created a loud noise. The entire void trembled incessantly as ripples of energy swept out in all directions. Some of the martial artists nearby were sent flying by the force. Boom! The ocean was torn apart as the yellow-robed young man was sent flying. I've lost, he said bitterly as he prepared to leave. However, the mountain in the sky did not disappear. It continued to press down on him. What? The crowd exclaimed. Puff! The yellow-robed martial artist was sent flying by the mountain. You! He landed on the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Senior brother. The Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples rushed out and surrounded the yellow-robed young man anxiously. My senior brother lost to you in a sparring match. How could you be so ruthless? You've broken the rules. That was indeed the case. Although the yellow-robed martial artist had defeated his opponent, his attacks were precise and did not injure his opponent. Yet now there was actually someone who disregarded the rules and attacked him so heavily even after he had admitted defeat. This was simply going too far. Humph, what do you mean by ruthless? That was just an ordinary palm strike. He can only blame himself for not being strong enough to take one of my palms. Luoyang landed on the ground and sneered. The Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples were furious. Luoyang was the one who had broken the rules and attacked him, but he was twisting the facts. This was simply blatant bullying. If you're not strong enough, go back and train for another 2 years. Don't embarrass yourself here, Duan Tianlang sneered. The Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples were so angry that they trembled. However, they did not dare to oppose the Duan family. Shut up and help me back. The yellow-robed martial artist propped himself up and said with difficulty. He knew that Luoyang was a genius from the Yen Mountain sect and had the support of the Duan family. If he persisted, the Celestial Sea Pavilion would be at a disadvantage. The crowd was silent. Although they sympathized with the Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples, no one dared to persuade them. Lin Xian frowned. That guy was really arrogant. He dared to hurt someone so brazenly. Thinking of that, he sighed and shook his head. It seemed that other than him, no one dared to provoke Luo Yang. Luo Yang looked at the Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples leaving and sneered. Then he placed his hands behind his back and scanned the crowd. Immediately, everyone lowered their heads, not daring to meet his eyes. What a joke! If he fought with Luo Yang, he would definitely be injured or killed. Luo Yang's gaze lingered on the pavilion as a sinister smile appeared on his face. "It's you." He slowly extended his finger and pointed at a figure in the pavilion. The cultivators who were far away from the pavilion suddenly breathed a sigh of relief and looked over curiously. As for the warriors in the pavilion, their hearts were hanging high in their throats. However, when they saw who Luo Yang was pointing at, they all had strange expressions on their faces. It was a young man in black. He had a delicate and pretty appearance, but his clothes were extremely ordinary. With this kind of attire, it was very likely that he would be mistaken for a servant in a crowd. Who is he? He doesn't look like much. He's only a mid-stage Zhong, spirit, realm martial artist. Did Luo Yang make a mistake? Everyone was puzzled. However, the conflict between Lin Xian and Luo Yang quickly spread. When the crowd heard that Lin Xian had refused to give up his seat and had even scolded Luo Yang, their jaws dropped. F***CK, this brat is so fierce. He's definitely going to die this time. That's right. He dares to disrespect Luo Yang. I'm afraid he'll suffer in this competition. Brat, I've said that you'll see my true strength. Regardless of whether you agree or not, you'll have to participate in this competition. Luo Yang's voice was unusually arrogant, as if he was the controller of the tea garden. Who do you think you are? Do you own the tea garden? Or are you the host of this competition? Lin Xian sneered as he raised his wine cup. Hearing this, the crowd was shocked. Lin Xian's words seemed to imply something. Sure enough, the blue-robed swordsman and Lord Wu Qing frowned slightly and looked over. Luo Yang is getting more and more arrogant. The blue-robed swordsman said coldly, Brat, you want to sow discord? You're too weak. Do you think that you don't have to compete? Luo Yang sneered as he walked over. Immediately, the crowd made a path for him. Since you're in a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He put down his wine cup and slowly stood up. This brat must be crazy. Does he know who he's talking to? Does he have a trump card? It doesn't look like it. The crowd was puzzled. They didn't know why Lin Xian was so calm. In the crowd, when Yun Duo saw Lin Xian's bold and arrogant behavior, she was so angry that her face turned pale. Amen, brat. Didn't I warn you not to fight? You didn't listen and provoked Luo Yang. I'm so angry. Yun Duo was going crazy. Hey, Yun Duo, what's wrong with you? You don't look too good. Are you not feeling well? A woman beside her asked. It's nothing. I'm just a little tired. Yun Duo shook her head. She looked into the distance and wondered if she should stop this competition. Forget it. It's good to teach this brat a lesson so that he won't cause any more trouble for me. Yun Duo made up her mind. However, she wouldn't directly attack Luo Yang. Seeing Lin Xian walk out of the pavilion, Luo Yang revealed a cruel smile. Brat, you have guts, but your brain isn't working well. How dare you provoke me? Today I'll make you crawl away. Luo Yang's voice was cold. Obviously, he didn't care about the rules and decided to seriously injure Lin Xian. You're a late, harmonious spirit warrior. It's not good to challenge a mid-harmonious spirit warrior, Yun Duo said from the crowd. Hearing this, the crowd was shocked. Although it was the truth, no one dared to say it out loud. Who was this person? How bold! Luo Yang also turned his head. His eyes were as cold as a poisonous snake as he stared at the person who spoke. However, he was stunned after a while. Although he didn't know Yin Duo, he knew the logo of the Great Flag Sect. The Great Flag Sect was one of the 6 top powers. Its strength was far beyond the Yen Mountain Sect. Even the Duan family was no match for it. Therefore, no matter how arrogant he was, he didn't dare to go against Yin Duo in public. Humph! Since the beauty has spoken, then I'll only use one hand. How about that? Luo Yang sneered. Even if he only used one hand, he could still crush Lin Xian. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. He didn't expect Yin Duo to speak up for him at this moment. He smiled faintly. Since you're only using one hand, then thank you very much. But you'll regret it. You're still so stubborn even in the face of death. I'll let you know that I can easily kill you with one hand. Brat, don't say that I didn't give you a chance to attack first. Come on. Luo Yang was very generous. In his opinion, Lin Xian was no match for him. Since you're so enthusiastic, then I won't hold back. Lin Xian said with a smile. Everyone was stunned. Yin Duo was also anxious. Did this guy know what kind of situation he was in? Chapter 429. Lin Xian took a step forward and dashed forward. Humph! Luo Yang placed his right hand in front of him and circulated the spiritual energy in his body. Lin Xian's body swayed. He didn't use any heaven-defying movement technique, so he looked ordinary. Soon, he raised his fist and punched out. You dare to attack me directly? You're courting death. Luo Yang sneered. This punch was too ordinary. It didn't have any shocking speed or terrifying momentum. How could it hurt him? Thinking of this, he stretched out his palm. As he punched out, lines of stone-like patterns appeared on his palm. His entire arm seemed to have turned into stone. Boom! The palm and fist collided, producing a thunderous sound that spread to all corners of the tea garden. A terrifying gale blew up, wrapping Lin Xian and Luo Yang inside. Many people squinted their eyes and looked at the scene. Judging from the fluctuation of qi, it seems like Luo Yang didn't hold back. That kid is unlucky. Even if he doesn't die, he will lose half of his life. Luo Yang's stone-like palm couldn't be broken by a warrior of the same realm. A mid-harmonious spirit, realm warrior, had no chance at all. At first, Luo Yang thought so too. However, when he touched Lin Xian's fist, his expression changed drastically. A terrifying energy bombarded his arm, causing countless cracks to appear on his stone-like arm. Crack, crack, crack. A deep sound was heard. Luo Yang's arm cracked and blood spurted out. When the gale stopped, everyone in the tea garden was stunned. Lin Xian stood in the middle of the field with a smile. There wasn't a single wound on his body, not even a wrinkle on his clothes. Luo Yang, on the other hand, was groaning in pain while holding his arm. Blood flowed down his deformed arm. Impossible, Luo Yang is injured. No way, that's a stone-like palm. How could it be deformed? Everyone was stunned. They felt like they were dreaming. Who is this kid? What just happened? How could he defeat Luo Yang? A mid-harmonious spirit realm warrior defeated Luo Yang with a single punch. Isn't this too crazy? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Senior brother won't lose. The beautiful woman from the Yen Mountain sect was terrified. Duan Wuqing and the blue-robed swordsman also frowned. To be honest, they didn't expect such an outcome. Could it be that Luo Yang was careless? The Duan clan disciple beside him wondered. Careless? Humph! No matter how careless he is, how can a mid-harmonious spirit realm warrior injure a late harmonious spirit realm warrior? The Blue Mountain swordsman sneered and shook his head. What do you think? He looked at Duan Wuqing. It's hard to say. He might be an expert, or he might have used some unknown means. The two of them kept staring at Lin Xian. In the field, Luo Yang's expression was hideous, and his body trembled in pain. Brat, how dare you injure me? I'll kill you, Luo Yang roared ferociously. His left hand pressed on his right arm to stop the bleeding. At the same time, he swallowed a few healing pills. Die. Luo Yang threw a small black mountain at Lin Xian with his left hand. The air trembled, and the palm-sized mountain quickly enlarged in front of everyone's horrified eyes. In the end, it looked like a real mountain floating in the air. The pressure was so strong that it made many people pale and tremble in fear. Die. Luo Yang raised his palm and controlled the black mountain to fall down. Not good. That's the Yen Mountain Sect's treasure, the Black Prison, Devil Mountain. It's several times heavier than a real mountain. Someone recognized the terrifying treasure and quickly retreated in fear. Damn bastard, get out of the way. Yun Duo anxiously shouted from the crowd, although she didn't like Lin Xian and even wanted to make Lin Xian suffer. She didn't want Lin Xian to be in any danger. After all, this was Lord Iron Hand's order. If anything went wrong, she wouldn't be able to escape the blame. As the Black Mountain fell down, a huge fluctuation occurred in the air. Countless waves of qi spread out in all directions like ocean waves. The air below exploded from the pressure. Lin Xian was locked down by an unknown force. He looked at the Black Mountain falling from the sky, his brows furrowed. Without dodging, Lin Xian took a deep breath and slashed at the air with his fingers like a sword. Whoosh! The resplendent sword radiance exploded in the air like 3,000 lightning bolts. The terrifying lightning sword qi bombarded the Black Mountain and sent it flying. Lin Xian moved and came to Luo Yang's side in an instant. What are you doing? Luo Yang screamed when he saw Lin Xian's figure. He couldn't understand why the sect's treasure couldn't hurt Lin Xian. People like you are a disaster. Lin Xian's expression was cold as lightning sword radiance shot out from his fingertips. Brother Duan, save me. Luo Yang felt the shocking lightning sword qi and turned around to run like a madman. However, Lin Xian was faster. His fingers danced like 3,000 lightning bolts, and a sharp sword radiance pierced towards Luo Yang. Brat, how dare you? An angry roar was heard. Then, a terrifying palm slapped towards Lin Xian. The palm technique was amazing, but it was still too late. Lin Xian moved like a ghost and appeared in the distance. Luo Yang was lying on the ground like a dead dog. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't imagine such a scene. The person who attacked was a disciple of the Shi family. It was Duan Tianlang who was with Luo Yang. He quickly went to Luo Yang and used his spiritual power to sense him. His expression changed drastically. You crippled him. Duan Tianlang's expression turned ugly. What? Luo Yang was crippled? Everyone was stunned and looked at Lin Xian in horror. That was Luo Yang. Not only was he powerful, but he was also the eldest disciple of the Yanling sect. How could he be crippled just like that? Especially since the person who crippled Luo Yang was a martial artist that they didn't think highly of. Brat, how could you be so ruthless? I can kill you on the spot. Duan Tianlang's voice was cold as he stared at Lin Xian. Ruthless? Lin Xian sneered. What ruthless? It was just a casual attack. He can only blame himself for being too weak. Everyone was stunned. Why did these words sound so familiar? The disciples of the Oceanic Sky Pavilion trembled. They looked at Lin Xian with excitement. These were the words that Luo Yang had said before. But this time he was the unlucky one. Retribution, this is retribution. People like Luo Yang should be crippled. The disciples of the Oceanic Sky Pavilion cheered. Brat, you are courting death. Duan Tianlang shouted angrily when he saw Luo Yang almost fainting from anger. Are you blind? The Black Mountain just now was enough to crush dozens of mid-harmonious spirit realm warriors to death. Is his action not considered ruthless? Or do you have some shady business with him, so you are covering for him? Lin Xian didn't back down when he faced the disciples of the Duan family. How dare you? Do you know who you are talking to? Duan Tianlang shouted coldly. So what if he is a disciple of the Duan family? Can a disciple of the Duan family confuse right from wrong? Or do you think you can represent the Duan family? Lin Xian said loudly. Brat, don't argue. You are the one who crippled Luo Yang's cultivation. You have violated the rules of the Tea Garden Association. Not only will the Duan family not forgive you, the Yanling sect will not let you go either. Don't use these sects to pressure me. Lin Xian snorted. Since I dared to take action, I can bear the consequences. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Chapter 430. The crowd exclaimed, "That's right. How could a genius with such strength not have a backer?" Duan Tianlang's pupils constricted. He suppressed the anger in his heart and asked in a low voice, "Who are you?" "Who am I?" Lin Xian's eyes glowed with a shocking light. "My name is Lin Xian. I believe that soon the entire barren Flame City will know my name." At that moment, Lin Xian exuded an inexplicable aura. He looked down on the crowd like a demon. The crowd was shocked by the aura. They looked at Lin Xian in shock, as if they were worshipping an ancient giant. Lin Xian, that's a strange name. Have I heard of it before? Which sect is he from? Why do I feel that he's so terrifying? The crowd discussed animatedly. They looked at Lin Xian with reverence. Among the crowd, Yun Duo also stared blankly at the figure. The situation was completely out of her expectations. She didn't know what to do. "What Lin Xian? I've never heard of him. Hurry up and tell us your sect, or you'll have to bear the consequences," Duan Tianlang shouted. "You don't have to worry. I don't have a sect." "No sect?" Duan Tianlang laughed. "You're just a rogue cultivator. How dare you act so presumptuously here?" Luo Yang also shouted crazily. "Brother Duan, help me kill him." "You must kill him." His cultivation was destroyed. He would be a cripple for the rest of his life. He could only be bullied by others. Therefore, he hated Lin Xian to death. However, he didn't think that if he hadn't been arrogant and bullied Lin Xian, he wouldn't have ended up like this. He was the one who brought all of this upon himself. "Don't worry. I'll take his head." Duan Tianlang's spiritual power surged out. His aura was even stronger than Luo Yang's. Stubborn. Lin Xian's eyes darkened. Duan Tianlang couldn't tell right from wrong. It was obvious that he wanted to avenge his personal grudge. However, he wasn't a pushover. He wasn't someone who could be bullied so easily. Bright jade palm. Duan Tianlang waved his palm, and the spiritual qi in the air gathered madly. A terrifying palm shadow instantly pounced on Lin Xian. As one of the 4 great clans, the Duan clan had an extraordinary status. The Duan clan's disciples were the targets of everyone everywhere. But today, there was actually someone who dared to go against them. Duan Tianlang could not tolerate this. "I'll let you know that the Duan clan's might is unquestionable." Duan Tianlang waved his palm, and a bright light rushed towards Lin Xian. "The Duan clan sure is impressive. They can't even differentiate between right and wrong, and they want to silence us." Lin Xian's voice drifted, and his body became even more blurry. This time, he used the illusory demon step, leaving countless shadows in the air. The void spirit illusory demonic steps was an earth tier martial art with extraordinary power. Not only was it extremely fast, but the illusions it left behind were also difficult to differentiate between real and fake. Not to mention Duan Tianlang. Even a spirit transformation realm cultivator would find it difficult to tell which was Lin Xian's real body. Ming Yu's palm mercilessly fell and destroyed countless illusions, but none of them were Lin Xian's real body. "Cowardly rat! Come out and fight if you have the guts. Duan Tianlang shouted madly. He had a lot of skills, but he could not use them. Is that so? I'm right beside you, but you can't see me. Lin Xian's voice came from behind Duan Tianlang. Everyone's heart palpitated. What a fast speed! They did not even notice when Lin Xian appeared behind Duan Tianlang. Brat die! Duan Tianlang turned around, but an even colder aura enveloped his body. You better not move, or else I can't guarantee that your body is intact. A thunderous sword aura blocked his body. You dare to attack me? Duan Tianlang instantly stopped, but he was so angry that his whole body trembled. As a Duan clan disciple, he had a noble status. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? If you dare to attack me, the Duan clan will not let you go. I won't kill trash like you who relies on your clan to bully others. However, if you continue to act recklessly, I can't guarantee that you won't end up like him. With that, Lin Xian pointed at Luo Yang, who was lying on the ground. Duan Tianlang's body trembled, and fear appeared in his eyes. Just like Luo Yang, his cultivation had been crippled. A disciple whose cultivation had been crippled was useless. All right, everyone stop. Duan Wuqing stood up. He pointed his finger, and an azure light instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. Its speed was shocking. So fast! Lin Xian was shocked. He floated back, leaving behind an afterimage. Whoosh! The resplendent finger beam destroyed the afterimage, and it disappeared. Without the threat of the lightning sword aura, Duan Tianlang quickly arrived at a safe place. Men, take this brat down. I'm so angry. Duan Tianlang shouted madly. Trash, get lost. Duan Wuqing shouted coldly. Duan Tianlang's body trembled, and he dared not speak again. He could only stare at Lin Xian with murderous eyes. All right, everyone knows what's right and wrong. I don't want to say anything more. However, this can only be done once. If it happens again, don't blame the Duan clan for being ruthless. Everyone was shocked when they heard that, and there was an uproar. Duan Wuqing had let Lin Xian go. This was beyond everyone's expectations. Duan Tianlang was shocked. He wanted to say something, but when he saw Duan Wuqing's cold eyes, he immediately lowered his head. He was just an ordinary disciple of the clan, while Duan Wuqing was a core disciple. There was a huge difference in their status. In front of Duan Wuqing, Duan Tianlang did not dare to act rashly. It's not like that. Brother Duan, save me. Luo Yang screamed crazily, having lost his last hope. Brat, I'll kill you. The Yanling clan won't let you go. Junior sister, help me kill him. Luo Yang crawled to the beautiful lady. Get lost. The beautiful lady kicked Luo Yang away and said with disgust, Men, throw this trash out. She did not dare to take revenge on Lin Xian. Even a genius like her senior brother was crippled, let alone her. Everyone was shocked. Yun Duo stared blankly at Lin Xian. This young man had brought her too much shock. First, he shattered Luo Yang's arm with a single punch. Then, he overbearingly crippled Luo Yang's cultivation. Finally, he was not even afraid of the Duan clan's disciples. Who is he? Yun Duo was very curious. All right, the tea garden will continue. Duan Wuqing said in a deep voice. There were two reasons why he made the decision just now. First, he could not see through Lin Xian's strength. Being able to defeat Luo Yang and cripple his cultivation in one move was enough to prove that Lin Xian was an expert. He was at least at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Secondly, he sent people to quickly gather information about Lin Xian. He found out that Lin Xian came with the Great Flag sect. Although he did not know the relationship between Lin Xian and the Great Flag sect, such a young genius must have a close relationship. He could not ignore it. These two reasons made Duan Wuqing unable to make a move on Lin Xian. However, there was something that shocked him even more. Chapter 431. Lin Xian stood in the middle of the field and said with a smile, "I've defeated Luo Yang. Is it time for me to challenge someone?" Seeing that everyone was silent, Lin Xian continued, "I want to challenge you." He pointed at Duan Wuqing. "What?" Everyone screamed again, as if they couldn't believe their eyes. "This guy is crazy. He dares to challenge Duan Wuqing." "It's possible. I think he must have been blinded by the victory just now. Unfortunately, if he really dares to challenge Duan Wuqing, he will end up in a miserable state." Who was Duan Wuqing? He was a core disciple of the Duan family. Someone like Luo Yang could not compare to him. It was rumored that although Duan Wuqing was only at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, he had defeated the older generation of spirit transformation realm experts. Although it was just a rumor, it showed how powerful and mysterious he was. In the past tea garden gatherings, those who challenged Duan Wuqing were usually at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. However, even those who were at the same level as him were defeated by him in one move. Therefore, in everyone's eyes, Lin Xian was courting death by challenging Duan Wuqing. "Who do you think you are to challenge our young master Wuqing?" Tian Lang shouted again. This time, not only him. All the disciples of the Duan family stared fiercely at Lin Xian. These people formed a terrifying pressure that pressed down on Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. The pressure did not affect him at all. He said calmly, "I remember the rules of the tea garden gathering. The winner can challenge anyone he wants, and the challenged person can accept or not. I didn't break the rules, did I? Then why can't I challenge you?" At the end, his voice was like a sharp sword that cut through the void. Lin Xian wanted to challenge Duan Wuqing. This action shocked everyone in the tea garden. "If you want to challenge young Master Wuqing, you have to go through me first." A figure flew out and rushed toward Lin Xian with lightning speed. The spiritual energy in the air fluctuated, and countless cold lights pierced through the void. Lin Xian used his soul to sense the danger. He stepped forward and disappeared from the spot. Chi-chi, countless rays of cold light tore apart the space where he was originally standing, and a cold aura spread out. "It's Han Yanku. I've heard that his cold mist sword art is extremely sharp. It's hard to find a match for him in the harmonious spirit realm. I didn't expect this person to be Lord Wuqing's supporter. If he makes a move, I'm afraid that kid will be in danger." "That's right. Han Yanku is exceptionally powerful. Luo Yang can't compare to him." "Kid, if you can't even beat me, then don't even think about challenging young Master Wuqing." Han Yan, guest, shouted coldly with his sword in hand. "Really? Then you'll lose for me." Lin Xian's hand slid to his jade belt, and a black scabbard suddenly appeared in his hand. The Absolute Star sword was quickly unsheathed, and a violent sword chi surged. 3,000 thunderstorms. The sword light flashed with thunder and lightning, shooting into the sky. The tea garden was surrounded by thunderous sword chi, emitting a violent aura. "Cold mist sword art." Han Yan, guest, quickly swung his long sword. The sword light was abnormally cold, and the whole space seemed to be frozen. The bone-piercing coldness pierced straight into people's souls. Boom! The void shook. The 3,000 thunderbolt sword art was too violent, and it dispersed the cold mist sword art in an instant. The thunderbolts in the sky condensed into a dazzling sword light, slashing toward Han Yanku. Han Yanku was shocked. He blocked the attack with his sword, forming a solid sword light in front of him. Ka! The sword light was like a thunderbolt, shattering Han Yanku's sword light and sending him flying. What? Han Yanku was defeated? And he was defeated in one move? The crowd went crazy. The young man in front of them had given them too much shock. Am I qualified? Lin Xian withdrew his Absolute Star sword. His eyes were like a sword light, piercing toward Lord Wuqing. No, I'll take you on. Another figure flew out. This person was 2 meters tall, and his muscles were filled with explosive strength. He carried the aura of a dragon and a tiger as he walked. Could he be the disciple of the mighty Titan sect, Wang Dali? That's right, it's him. Rumor has it that his strength is so great that he can pull out a mountain. He once smashed a peak harmonious spirit warrior into meat paste with a single palm. I didn't expect him to come on stage. The crowd was excited and they all looked at the stage. Looking at the tall young man in front of him, Lin Xian felt a sense of pressure. Kid, come on. You can only challenge Lord Wu Qing if you defeat me. Wang Dali shouted, and his body emitted a dazzling light. A hazy golden light covered his body as if he was made of gold. He looked extraordinarily powerful. He took a step forward, and the ground under his feet cracked open. The glaring cracks quickly slashed toward Lin Xian. The ground cracked as if it was being torn apart by someone. Lin Xian's body soared into the sky, defying the heavens. 7 steps of the dragon. Under his feet, a hazy green light appeared, like the purple claw of a giant dragon. Lin Xian took a step forward, and he stepped toward Wang Dali. Wang Dali shouted angrily and punched out. Too arrogant. Someone dared to step on him in the sky. He couldn't stand it. The fist carried a golden light, and it shattered the void. Lin Xian was like a willow leaf swaying in the wind, constantly swaying. However, he, who had comprehended the concept of wind, didn't care about it at all. He stepped on the golden fist, and a deep dragon roar sounded in the sky. The void surged as if it was about to split open, forming a huge wave that spread out in all directions. Lin Xian's body soared into the sky and flew upward. Wang Dali didn't move, but his face was unusually serious. Was he sent flying? Everyone exclaimed. It was still not enough. Yes, no one can compete with Wang Dali in terms of strength. But that kid didn't get hurt. That's rare. Everyone discussed, shaking their heads and sighing. However, they soon realized that they were wrong. Lin Xian's rising body suddenly stopped, and then he came down with an even more violent aura. He stepped out again, and an illusory dragon claw appeared under his feet. With a heart-palpitating power, it grabbed toward Wang Dali. Get lost! Wang Dali's body emitted a golden light, and he waved his fist toward the sky again. The two of them exchanged blows, and every collision caused the entire tea garden to tremble. Too terrifying. Who is this kid? How can he compete with Wang Dali in terms of strength? This is already the 6th move. Does he not have a limit? 1 move to decide the winner. Wang Dali was furious. No one had ever been able to compete with him in terms of strength for so long. Strength to uproot mountains and rivers. He shook his arms 7 times and blasted toward the sky. Endless golden light rushed to the sky, dyeing the sky golden. This power was enough to threaten a spirit transformation realm warrior. 7th step. Lin Xian stepped out for the last time, and an illusory azure dragon appeared under his feet. It roared ferociously and rushed downward. The golden light in the sky was torn apart, and the azure dragon's roar instantly hit Wang Dali's fist. The sky was messed up and the ground caved in. Wang Dali's hands were trembling, and he kept retreating. Every time he took a step back, the ground would crack. This scene was too terrifying. Wang Dali, who had always been the strongest in the harmonious spirit realm, was forced to retreat. Everyone stared blankly at Lin Xian, who was floating down, and couldn't stop swallowing their saliva. No one has ever been able to beat me in terms of strength. You are very strong. I admit defeat. Wang Dali shook his head and sighed as he felt his arm go numb. Lin Xian nodded, and then looked at Duan Wuqing. This time am I qualified? His sonorous and powerful voice echoed in the tea garden. Chapter 432. Everyone was silent. Even the Duan clan was terrifyingly silent. Lin Xian's strength was beyond their expectations. Perhaps only Duan Wuqing could withstand his strength. If anyone else went up, they would only be humiliating themselves. Duan Wuqing's eyes glowed as he slowly stood up. "You are very strong. You are worth my time." Everyone was shocked. Was young Master Wuqing finally going to make a move? They were extremely excited. "Very well, please." Lin Xian made an inviting gesture. "Please." Duan Wuqing also bowed. Then his body flashed and instantly appeared in the middle of the field. Everyone retreated, leaving enough space for the two of them to fight. When such peerless geniuses fought, they couldn't be too close. Otherwise, they would be unlucky if they were accidentally injured. "Who do you think will win?" a martial artist asked. "Of course, it will be young Master Wuqing. He is a genius youth who defeated a martial artist in the spirit transformation realm." "Yes, I heard that the Duan clan Starfinger is extremely profound. Legend has it that if it is practiced to perfection, even the stars will explode. Although that kid is strong, how can he be compared to young Master Wuqing?" Everyone discussed in low voices. None of them were optimistic about Lin Xian. It was no wonder. Although Lin Xian was valiant, young Master Wuqing was even stronger. In everyone's hearts, he was the symbol of invincibility. Take Wang Dali, for example. Lin Xian forced Wang Dali back in 7 moves. Back then, young Master Wuqing defeated Wang Dali with 1 finger. Everyone clearly saw the difference. Starfinger is the Duan clan's secret art. It is extremely powerful, so you have to be careful. Starfinger is the Duan clan's secret art. Legend has it that 1 finger can explode a star. Even if this martial art wasn't an earth-tier martial art, it wasn't far from it. Duan Wuqing extended his finger. The surrounding spirit qi surged rapidly. His finger emitted a dazzling light. It was like jade with mysterious patterns on it. As he pointed his finger, the sky flickered. A thin, needle-like finger light flew towards Lin Xian's forehead. Duan Wuqing appeared gentle and refined, but his attack was cold and merciless. He aimed directly at Lin Xian's vital point. In an instant, Lin Xian's aura tensed up. He felt as if he was locked down by an unknown force. Illusory demon steps. Lin Xian dodged with extreme speed like a ghost. The Void Spirit Illusory Demon Step was a true earth-tier martial art with extraordinary power. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian broke free from Starfinger. So fast. What kind of footwork is that? Everyone was shocked. They simply couldn't see Lin Xian's figure clearly. In the distance, the blue-robed swordsman also frowned slightly. His gaze was like a blade light that enveloped the entire void. Although the speed is fast, the Starfinger is not that easy to dodge. The blue-robed swordsman shook his head slightly. Indeed, even though Lin Xian had dodged the resplendent purple light in an instant, the sense of danger in his heart still hadn't disappeared. Using his soul power, he quickly scanned the surroundings. His expression changed drastically. Although he dodged the sharp finger light, the resplendent purple light did not disappear. Instead, it continued to pursue him at a strange speed. What kind of finger technique is this? Lin Xian was shocked that it could automatically change directions. His figure moved again, shuttling back and forth in the tea garden like a ghost. However, the light followed him like a shadow and quickly chased after him. It should have locked onto you. Looks like you can only resist with all your strength, Lord Alcohol said. Since I can't dodge it, I'll just destroy it. He suddenly turned around and quickly pulled out the Star of Extinction sword. He slashed out with the 3,000 lightning eclipse. The sword qi that filled the sky turned into lightning and slashed at the finger light behind him. However, the Starfinger was so sharp that it actually pierced through the lightning. The Starfinger can't be destroyed like this. Kid, just wait for your death. Duan Tianlang sneered. It actually pierced through. Lin Xian was surprised. It seemed that he had underestimated the Starfinger. Try this. A trace of dragon's sword intent surged out and merged with the sword chi. 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 Suddenly, the resplendent finger light was split open and dissipated. What? The Starfinger was split open? Impossible. Duan Tianlang screamed in horror. As a disciple of the Duan family, he obviously knew the power of the Starfinger. Even a spirit transformation realm warrior could not destroy it so easily. Duan Wuqing stood with his hands behind his back and frowned. You can actually destroy the Starfinger. Interesting. It seems that you can make me a little more serious. Say that after you beat me. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Watch this. Duan Wuqing stretched out his palm again. On his jade-like finger, there were blue patterns that emitted a faint blue light. A finger light that was as thick as a stone pillar appeared in the void. A huge shadow shrouded Lin Xian. What a terrifying aura! Everyone's faces turned pale, and they could not breathe. The Starfinger was extremely profound. It was as thin as a silver needle a moment ago, but now it was as thick as a mountain. The terrifying finger light pressed down as if it could destroy everything. Let's see how you block it this time. The Duan family disciple sneered. In the crowd, Yundua's small hands kept rubbing the corner of her clothes. She was very nervous. Nothing must happen to this bastard. Wind Slayer! The Star of Extinction sword was swung out. The violent lightning disappeared and was replaced by a strange and unpredictable sword light. Wherever the sword light passed, the concept of wind quickly spread out. In the sky, the resplendent finger light seemed to be met with great resistance, and its speed slowed down bit by bit. An inexplicable power filled the void, and it kept breaking down the resplendent finger light. What's going on? What happened? Everyone exclaimed. They could not understand, but the experts frowned. This is concept. The blue-robed swordsman looked at the sky, and his eyes emitted a shocking light. Duan Wuqing snorted. He also sensed the concept of wind. In the sky, the resplendent finger light quickly became smaller and finally disappeared. His astonishing means had stunned everyone. Concept of wind. I didn't expect this to be your true strength. Duan Wuqing's expression was gloomy. I really underestimated you. What? Concept of wind. Everyone was shocked and looked at Lin Xian in horror. Yundua's mouth was also slightly open in shock. A martial artist who could comprehend a concept was definitely a genius. Lin Xian actually comprehended the concept of wind at this age. He was a genius among geniuses. Only now did Yunduo know why Lord Iron Hand wanted Lin Xian to participate in the Tea Garden gathering. Whether it was talent or strength, Lin Xian was not weaker than Lord Wuqing. It was ridiculous that he warned him not to make a move. Yunduo smiled bitterly. The House of Yan's disciples looked at Lin Xian in horror, feeling the lingering fear. Fortunately, they did not help Luoyang at that time. Otherwise, they would be the unlucky ones. Even their senior brother, Luoyang, did not comprehend concept. They could imagine how abnormal Lin Xian's talent was. You are very strong, but it is not enough to defeat me. Duan Wuqing was very confident. At this moment, a surge of spiritual energy was released from his body, stirring up the wind and clouds. I will let you see the true power of the Starfinger. What? The true power of the Starfinger? Did Lord Wuqing just casually attack? Chapter 433. Everyone was shocked. It was hard to imagine that the power was not Lord Wuqing's full strength. Lin Xian frowned slightly. Duan Wuqing did not look like he was lying. Let me see your Duan clan's secret technique. Lin Xian was surrounded by the concept of wind. His black hair was like a waterfall, fluttering in the wind. The first move of the star finger, void dimension. He pointed out with his finger, and a bright light flashed and disappeared between heaven and earth. Everyone was shocked and looked at each other. They could not see the finger light at all, let alone feel it. Lin Xian frowned deeply. In the next moment, his expression changed slightly. His body flashed quickly as he performed an extreme movement technique. A sword-like finger light instantly pierced through his shadow and quickly disappeared. What? It merged into the void? How can he dodge it? No wonder Lord Wu Qing is so confident. Is this the true power of the star finger? The Blue Mountain swordsman also took a deep breath as he stared at Lin Xian's figure. He was also a little afraid of the Duan clan star finger. I wonder how this kid is going to dodge it? Lin Xian was shocked. The star finger was indeed beyond his expectations. Its effect was similar to his concept of wind, which could merge into the wind. Moreover, what surprised him was that he could not accurately lock onto it in his soul. The star finger's speed was extremely fast. Even the slightest mistake could lead to a misjudgment. Since I can't dodge it, then I won't waste it. Lin Xian stopped abruptly and swung his long sword. Sword patterns that looked like willow branches circled around his body. Returning wind, whisking willow sword. Many green patterns of sword qi surrounded Lin Xian. These sword qi had merged with the concept of wind. Its power was far beyond normal. It seemed to have changed the surrounding space. Boom! The star finger appeared instantly and collided with the defense, creating countless sparks. Qi! Qi! Countless waves appeared on the sword screen. Many sharp sword qi shot out from the sword screen and slashed toward the star finger. Lin Xian used himself as bait to draw out the unpredictable finger light. Then he used the concept of wind to defend himself before using the great dragon's sword, intent to destroy it. This series of actions happened in an instant, so when everyone came back to their senses, Starfinger had already disappeared. What? He blocked it. Duan Wuqing was stunned. This move was the killing move of the Starfinger. It came and went without a trace, and could kill people without leaving a trace. It was far from comparable to the previous few fingers. However, this killing move was easily blocked by Lin Xian. This made him feel unreal. Impossible. This must be a coincidence. Duan Wuqing did not believe it. He flicked his fingers continuously, shooting out rays of finger light one after another. Divine radiance lit up the sky, illuminating all directions as it rushed towards Lin Xian with a biting, cold, killing intent. This scene made everyone tremble. That aura seemed to be able to pierce through heaven and earth. However, this time, Lin Xian faced it head-on. The spiritual energy in his body revolved, and the concept of wind was pushed to the extreme. At the same time, the Absolute Star sword slashed out streaks of sword light, all of which contained terrifying sword intent. Boom! The void trembled as the finger light was split into two and dissipated in the sky. Qi! Qi! Another 2 finger lights disappeared. The sword energy was unstoppable. Lin Xian was like a sword god. Every sword had an unpredictable power, causing the star finger light to disappear. No, this is not the concept of wind. Duan Wuqing looked at the sky with an ugly expression. This attack power, could it be sword intent? Impossible. He already has the concept of wind. How can he have sword intent? Duan Wuqing did not believe it because it was simply impossible. He had never heard of a person having 2 concepts. In the distance, the blue-robed swordsman also stood up suddenly. The table in front of him was cut in half by the invisible sword energy. At this moment, he was even more surprised than Duan Wuqing. Sword intent. He actually comprehended sword intent. The blue-robed swordsman's eyes bloomed with sword light, and a shocking aura rose from his body. He had comprehended sword intent, so he could clearly feel Lin Xian's sword intent. Hearing the blue-robed swordsman's words, everyone exclaimed, "Sword intent? That was extremely difficult to comprehend in the concept. Once comprehended, the attack power would multiply." "That's not right. Didn't that brat comprehend the concept of wind? Why did it become sword intent?" "Yeah, could that swordsman have sensed it wrong?" "How could it be? Do you know who he is?" "He is Chiu Si Hai from the Star Ocean sect. How could he have sensed it wrong?" Hearing this, everyone was silent. Lin Xian actually comprehended 2 types of concepts. This talent was also too terrifying. Duan Wuqing's face was even uglier. Who is this brat? How can he comprehend 2 concepts? He was extremely jealous. As a core disciple of the Duan family, he had not comprehended a concept. But Lin Xian, an unknown brat, actually comprehended 2 concepts. This made him feel a strong sense of defeat. "No, I can't admit defeat. How about comprehending a concept? My cultivation is far higher than his. I can't lose." Duan Wuqing gritted his teeth and said. At the same time, the aura in his body surged and burned with the blue flame. He used the star finger again, and it was like a dragon roaring in the air. 3,000 lightning haste. A sword chi was like a thunderclap containing a terrifying sword intent, slashing towards the void. This sword was extremely violent. It was like a bolt of lightning striking the ground, destroying everything. At the same time, Lin Xian used the illusory demonic steps to increase his speed to the limit and arrived in front of Duan Wuqing in an instant. Phantom sword. Lin Xian changed his sword technique again. The sword chi was illusory, slashing in all directions. Duan Wuqing's face changed. This sword chi gave him a strong sense of danger. His fingers moved, and an arc of light flew out, forming a half-moon attack in front of him. However, the phantom sword was illusory and had an illusory attack. Duan Wuqing could not distinguish it and was instantly hit by the 2 sword chi. In the next moment, he was sent flying. Although he put up a defensive armor at the first moment, the terrifying sword chi still made his blood boil. "Impossible, this is impossible. He can actually resist my star finger." Duan Wuqing could not accept this. Who is he? He is a core disciple of the Duan family, and his cultivation is at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Lin Xian is only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm. There is a gap of 2 realms between the 2 of them. The gap between the harmonious spirit realm was huge. The difference between each realm was like heaven and earth. Only peerless geniuses or those with powerful weapons could surpass realms to fight. Even so, they could only surpass 1 realm. But Lin Xian was able to surpass 2 realms to fight, and he even had the upper hand. This was too shocking. Even if he had sword intent, it was still impossible. Duan Wuqing looked at Lin Xian. His eyes were full of shock and unwillingness. "There is no need to fight anymore. You have lost." Lin Xian put away the star extinction sword and said in a deep voice, "What did you say? You are only temporarily in the lead. I have not used my full strength." Duan Wuqing gritted his teeth. He could not accept this result. Moreover, Lin Xian's attitude made him even angrier. Lin Xian shook his head. "I have already held back. If we continue to fight, you will be seriously injured." Everyone exclaimed. Lin Xian's strength was already terrifying enough, but he still held back. Stop boasting." Duan Wuqing did not believe it. Chapter 434. Lin Xian was right. He had only used part of his sword intent, which was only at the minor accomplishment level. Even so, Duan Wuqing couldn't bear it anymore. Moreover, Lin Xian's sword intent had reached 70%. If he used all of it, he could instantly kill Duan Wuqing. One should know that Lin Xian had killed 2 spirit transformation experts. Duan Wuqing didn't know this. In his opinion, Lin Xian's words were too arrogant. Brat, I will let you know that the disciples of the Duan clan are not to be humiliated. Duan Wuqing's spirit energy surged. However, Lin Xian was faster. The Wind Emperor's sword arrived in front of Duan Wuqing in a flash. Star point! Duan Wuqing's right hand shot out a finger light. His left hand was also raised high, slapping towards Lin Xian. The bright jade palm was also one of the secret arts of the Duan clan. The 2 ultimate techniques attacked Lin Xian at the same time. Divine light filled the sky. The jade palm covered the sky. The air was mercilessly torn apart. This kind of attack was enough to kill any harmonious spirit expert. However, Lin Xian's Wind Emperor's sword was a combination of 2 great intents. Its power was beyond Duan Wuqing's understanding. The sword energy swept across. Duan Wuqing was sent flying again. Everyone was stunned. Their minds went blank. The disciples of the Duan clan exclaimed and ran to Duan Wuqing. Brat, you dare to injure a disciple of the Duan clan. You are finished. No one can save you. Duan Tianlang's face was ferocious. Shut up! Duan Wuqing shouted coldly. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stood up with difficulty. I am not a sore loser. You are very strong. You have won. Young Master Wuqing, whose name shook the entire desolate Flame City, had actually lost. It wouldn't take long for the entire desolate Flame City to know. You let me win. Lin Xian cupped his fists and said, he didn't have any enmity with Duan Wuqing. This was just a competition. His goal was to become famous in the desolate Flame City. Lin Xian shifted his gaze from Duan Wuqing to the Blue Mountain swordsman. Everyone was numb. Does he want to continue the challenge? Sure enough, Lin Xian said in a deep voice, Can we have a fight? Of course. The Blue Mountain swordsman, Qiu Sihai's aura. Unlike young Master Wuqing's elegance, Qiu Sihai's aura was his aura's aura of heavens of heaven. This was saber intent, an indestructible saber intent. Wuqing was Qiu swordsman's aura of heaven. However, he still only used a portion of his sword intent and controlled it at the initial success stage. Wuqing X's take my attack Qiu Sihai didn't talk nonsense. The long saber behind him clanged, and the sharp saber instantly slashed towards Lin Xian. An aura as heavy as a mountain, yet not lacking in sharpness, instantly enveloped Lin Xian. The void buzzed as if it was about to break open at any moment. Everyone held their breaths as they couldn't withstand such an aura. Even a peak harmonious spirit warrior wouldn't be able to escape from such an attack. Lin Xian pulled out the star sword and went forward. The sword light was like thunder, violent and domineering. The sword and saber collided, shaking the whole tea garden. In the next moment, the sword chi and saber light disappeared in the sky. It's on par with my saber intent. Qiu Sihai looked dignified. Small achievement, saber intent, not bad. Lin Xian nodded slightly. Among the martial artists he knew, except for Lin Feng's sword intent, Qiu Sihai's saber intent was the strongest. Let's use our strongest attack, Qiu Sihai said in a deep voice. For swordsmen like them who had comprehended sword intent, their attacks were extremely sharp. They could usually decide the winner in 1 or 2 moves. All right. Lin Xian didn't want to waste any more time. Mountain wave slash. Qiu Sihai condensed all the spiritual energy in his body and slashed out. Small achievement saber, intent, surged in the sky as if it was going to split the sky in half. The saber light fell mercilessly, covering half of the tea garden. 3,000 thunders fusion. Lightning flashed in the sky and condensed into a silver lightning. It was like the nine heavens' thunder. Boom! Lightning flashed, mountains and rivers shattered, and this attack moved all directions. At this moment, all the martial artists frantically retreated, for fear of being involved in this violent force. Chiu Sihai was surrounded by the saber like a god of death. In the next moment, his face changed dramatically. Not good. This sword intent has exceeded the small achievement realm. He was shocked that the opponent's sword intent had surpassed his. The terrifying sword intent was vast and mighty, making him a little breathless. In an instant, he was shrouded in sword light. Not good. Chiu Sihai is going to lose. In the distance, Duan Wuqing's eyes flashed, and his heart was bitter again. Lin Xian's aura at this moment was stronger than when he was fighting with him. What did this mean? This meant that Lin Xian did not use all his strength when fighting with him. Thinking of this, a sense of powerlessness rose in his heart. Chiu Sihai, who was in the middle of the sword light, was even more uncomfortable. His whole body was shrouded in sword light, and he could not move. At this moment, a fear rose in his heart. As a disciple of Xinghai sect, he was respected. He comprehended a small amount of saber intent and did not put anyone in his eyes. But now he knew how small he was and what it meant to be strong. Lin Xian's sword intent made him feel a sense of despair. This is a peerless genius. Chiu Sihai thought bitterly. This feeling was like facing the peerless genius of the sect. Am I going to die? He gave up resisting. However, in the next moment, the sword light disappeared as if it had never appeared. What? Chiu Sihai was shocked and suddenly looked up. He saw Lin Xian slowly sheathing the Star of Extinction, sword back into its scabbard and standing with his hands behind his back. He could actually withdraw his sword intent at will. Chiu Sihai was shocked. He found that Lin Xian was stronger than he imagined. Thank you for showing mercy. Chiu Sihai landed and said with a trace of gratitude. Everyone was stunned and dumbfounded. A powerful genius like Chiu Sihai actually said such words to Lin Xian. Shock, absolute shock. Lin Xian was a peerless genius. Compared to him, Duan Wuqing and Chiu Sihai were much more ordinary. Unsurprisingly, in the next few days, Lin Xian would definitely be the topic of discussion in desolate Flame City. Thank you for letting me win, Lin Xian said. He breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. He knew that he had achieved the condition of being famous in desolate Flame City. You are very strong, but you are not the strongest I have seen, Chiu Sihai said in a deep voice. There are still a few monsters in Xinghai sect. Their talent and strength are definitely not inferior to yours. I really hope to see a battle between you two. Xinghai sect, Lin Yuxuan repeated, listening to Chiu Sihai's tone. There was another peerless genius in Xinghai sect. No need to doubt, Chiu Sihai said. Although I am strong in the outside world, I am not even in the top 10 in Xinghai sect. Not even in the top 10. Everyone was shocked. They knew very little about the top forces. They only knew that the disciples inside were all experts among experts. However, they never thought that Chiu Sihai would not even be in the top 10. Didn't that mean that the top 10 experts of Xinghai sect were all monsters like Lin Xian, or even more monsters than him? Chapter 435. Don't worry, I think we'll meet in the Azure Dragon Society sooner or later. Azure Dragon Society. Chiu Sihai's body trembled slightly, and Duan Wuqing's eyes lit up. Sure enough, a genius like Lin Xian wouldn't miss out on the Azure Dragon Society. Goodbye, we'll meet again if we have the chance. Lin Xian smiled indifferently and then floated away. Lin Xian, wait for me. In the crowd, Yunduo followed behind Lin Xian with a red face, and the two quickly disappeared, leaving the tea garden. Desolate Flame City. The city was unusually lively these days, and Lin Xian's matter had already spread. Everyone was shocked. Still shocked. Great Banner Mansion. Iron Hand. looked at Lin Xian in front of him and nodded with satisfaction. Not bad. You didn't let me down. I'll take you to the headquarters, and then you can participate in the Azure Dragon Society's selection battle. Thank you, Lord Iron Hand. Lin Xian was happy. But I have to remind you of one thing. Iron Hand said in a deep voice, although you defeated Duan Wuqing and Qiu Si Hai, it doesn't mean you can participate in the Azure Dragon Society. You should know that even Duan Wuqing and Qiu Si Hai aren't qualified to participate in the selection battle. Lin Xian was stunned. He didn't expect the Azure Dragon Society's qualification battle to be so high that even Duan Wuqing and Qiu Si Hai weren't qualified. It seemed that the experts of the Dragon Star Kingdom were much stronger than he had imagined. Thank you, Senior, for reminding me. I'll work hard, Lin Xian said respectfully. Actually, if you're willing to stay in Great Banner Sect, you can participate in the next Azure Dragon Society. With your talent, there won't be many who can be your opponent in the next Azure Dragon Society. Iron Hand slowly said. When he found out that Lin Xian had actually comprehended 2 types of intent realms, he became fond of talent and wanted to take Lin Xian into his sect. Thank you, Senior, for your kindness, but I still want to seize this opportunity. Lin Xian's attitude was firm. He wasn't afraid of the selection battle, but more of it was excitement. Firstly, when he fought against Qiu Si Hai and Duan Wuqing, he only used about half of his strength. Moreover, he still had the Evil King's crystal, which could help him reach the late harmonious spirit realm in a short time. At that time, even if he encountered a cultivator at the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm, he would have the confidence to fight. All right, it's up to you. Iron Arms didn't say anything else. He knew that geniuses were all prideful. If Lin Xian didn't hit a wall, he probably wouldn't be satisfied. In the following days, Lin Xian temporarily settled down and cultivated diligently every day. Other than absorbing the energy within the crystals, he would also try to comprehend the illusory demon step whenever he had the time. The effect of this earth-tier martial art far exceeded his expectations. That day at the battle in the tea garden, he had only grasped a bit of it, but that speed had already surpassed his previous dragon inverse steps. If he could reach the small success stage, his speed would surpass the majority of spirit transformation realm warriors. The days of cultivation passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, he had been here for a month. During this period of time, he had successfully broken through to the late middle spirit realm by absorbing the energy within the Evil King's crystal. Moreover, his illusory demon step had also made great progress. Although he hadn't reached the small success stage yet, he wasn't far from it. On this day, Iron Arms summoned Lin Xian once again. Let's go. Follow me to the headquarters. Lin Xian nodded and followed behind Iron Arms. He hid his late harmonious spirit realm cultivation base, making himself appear as a mid-harmonious spirit realm cultivator. He did this to preserve his strength and also to not attract the attention of others. Otherwise, reaching the late harmonious spirit realm in just a month was too terrifying and would definitely attract the attention of others. He didn't want to be captured and studied like a lab rat. Lin Xian was very successful in hiding. Even Iron Arms didn't notice him. The two boarded the bronze chariot. 3 ferocious roaring flood dragons soared into the sky and disappeared from the desolate Flame City. Seeing that the day of the Azure Dragon Association was approaching, all the forces became active. This was a golden age for the younger generation. It was not only related to one's reputation, but also the fate of the sect. That was because the Azure Dragon True Chi from the Azure Dragon gatherings not only had a miraculous effect on individuals, but it would also give some luck to the sect or power they belonged to. Therefore, preparing for the Azure Dragon Association was not only a matter for the younger generation, but also for the entire sect. There were 6 top forces in the Dragon Star country. Each force was given 5 spots to participate in the Azure Dragon Association. 5 spots were simply too few. One had to know that there were at least hundreds of thousands of people in a top force and countless genius disciples. However, even so, there were only 5 spots. When Lin Xian heard this news, he took a deep breath. 5 spots! No wonder Iron Arms was so cautious and wanted to test his strength first. For a giant like the Great Flag Sect, there must be a lot of genius disciples. If Lin Xian didn't have enough strength, he would only become a laughingstock. Even now, Iron Arms didn't have too much hope. He still hoped that Lin Xian would be able to participate in the next Azure Dragon Association. The headquarters of the Great Flag Sect was located in the Yong County of the Longxing country. The 3 flood dragons were 8th grade demonic beasts, and their strength was comparable to the spirit transformation realm. Even so, it took them 5 days to arrive at the Yong County. The loud roar of the flood dragons resounded in all directions. The 3 flood dragons quickly rushed toward a group of magnificent buildings. Lord Iron Arms is back! The warriors below exclaimed when they saw the flood dragons and the bronze chariot in the sky. Not long after, a group of warriors gathered below. Each of them had a powerful aura. The weakest was at the mid-harmonious spirit realm, while the strongest was at the spirit transformation realm. All of them looked up at the sky with a respectful expression. "Welcome, Lord Iron Arms." The group of people said, respectfully. The 3 flood dragons stopped in the sky, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. The bronze chariot opened, and Iron Arms slowly walked out. Lin Xian followed closely behind him. The warriors below looked up at the sky and were shocked. Who is that kid? How can he stay beside Lord Iron Arms? Moreover, when they sensed that Lin Xian was only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm, they were even more confused. But even so, no one dared to ask. I came back to do one thing, and that is the Azure Dragon Association selection. Iron Arms strolled in the sky, his voice spreading in all directions. Inform them that the selection will begin in 10 days. Yes, the crowd replied. Also, this is Lin Xian. From today onwards, he will be a member of the Great Flag Sect. He will also participate in the Azure Dragon Association selection. Qing Shan, bring Lin Xian to rest. Yes, Lord, a slightly fat youth replied. Well, I can only help you to this extent. Whether you can participate in the Azure Dragon Association will depend on your strength. Iron Arms turned to Lin Xian and said, Thank you, Lord Iron Arms. Lin Xian said gratefully. He then followed Qing Shan to his residence. Chapter 436. Not long after, the whole Great Flag Sect knew that Lord Iron Hand had brought back a young man who was going to participate in the selection. Do you know that the kid I saw that day was only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm? Mid-harmonious spirit realm? He has the nerve to participate in the selection? I don't know. Is it related to Lord Iron Hand? Did he go through the back door? Someone was doubtful. Impossible. Lord Iron Hand is the most impartial person. Even if he went through the back door, it would be useless. Otherwise, even if he passed the selection, he would still be ridiculed in the Azure Dragon Assembly. Everyone shook their heads. They couldn't understand why Lord Iron Hand would recommend a mid-harmonious spirit realm kid to participate. Have you heard the news from Desolate Flame City? That kid called Lin Xian defeated Qiu Sihai and Duan Wuqing, even though he is only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm. Defeated Qiu Sihai and Duan Wuqing. Everyone was surprised. They knew these 2 people. Even though they weren't the top geniuses, they were still powerful experts. A mid-harmonious spirit realm warrior was able to defeat these 2 people. It was enough to prove that he was extraordinary. Looks like this kid has the strength of a peak harmonious spirit realm warrior. I also heard that this kid has mastered 2 types of intent realm. They are the intent realm of wind and sword. What? two types of intent realm. Everyone exclaimed. This news was too shocking. Comprehending two types of intent realm was even rarer than challenging someone who was at a higher level. If one had a powerful treasure, it was possible to challenge someone who was at a higher level. However, comprehending two types of intent realm wasn't something that anyone could do. Even an ordinary genius couldn't do it. I didn't expect this kid to be a peerless genius despite his ordinary appearance. However, even though he is strong, it is still too difficult for him to get a spot. There are only 5 spots in the selection, and we have a lot of monstrous geniuses here. Indeed, the top few in Great Flag Sect were all geniuses who could kill spirit transformation realm warriors. Therefore, even though Lin Xian was a monstrous genius, no one was optimistic about him. Looking at his age, he is only 17 or 18 years old. I think Lord Iron Hand wants to train him well. With his talent, he will definitely be able to participate in the next Azure Dragon Assembly. Plus, he has comprehended 2 types of intent realm. I think he will be able to enter the top 100. Everyone nodded, feeling more and more that this was the case. The Azure Dragon Society was held once every 10 years. 10 years later, Lin Xian would only be 27 or 28 years old, so he would definitely be able to participate. Everyone agreed that Lin Xian was chosen as a seeded player for the next generation. Lin Xian smiled faintly when he heard the news. He didn't try to explain himself. Everything would be clear once the names were announced. However, during the few days that he stayed in Daki Sect, he welcomed an acquaintance. Brother Lin, it really is you. I didn't think we'd meet again. Yi Qianqing strode in. Brother Yi, long time no see. Lin Xian greeted him with a smile. Brother Lin, are you really going to participate in the competition? Yi Qianqing asked. When he first heard about it, he didn't believe it either. When they first met, Lin Xian's strength was almost the same as his. But a few days ago, there was news that Lin Xian had defeated Qiu, Si Hai, and Duan Wuqing. This made him very surprised. After all, every advancement in the harmonious spirit realm was very difficult and required time to accumulate. However, Lin Xian seemed to have broken this understanding. What made him even more shocked was that Lin Xian wanted to participate in the competition. One should know that Daki Sect was a top power with countless geniuses. The top 10 core disciples were even more powerful than Duan Wuqing. Seeing Lin Xian nodding, Yi Qianqing sighed. Brother, Yi, why don't you tell me who is going to participate in the competition? All right, Yi Qianqing said slowly. There are a total of 10 people participating in the Azure Dragon Society's competition. They are the top 10 core disciples of Daki Sect. These people were all at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. 2 of them had already reached the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Moreover, these people had the strength to fight against a spirit transformation realm warrior. The top few monstrous geniuses could even kill a spirit transformation realm warrior. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. He realized that the top 10 core disciples were about the same level as him. Now that he had broken through to the late harmonious spirit realm, it shouldn't be too difficult to fight for a spot. But Brother Lin, if you really want to participate, you must be careful of 2 people. Yi Qianqing said. Oh, the 2 peak harmonious spirit realm warriors? Not all of them. One of them is Ouyang Kuan. He is the number 1 core disciple. His cultivation is at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, but his strength can easily kill a spirit transformation realm warrior. The other one is Hua Fei, who is ranked 7th. She specializes in soul attacks and is very strange. Ouyang Kuan, Hua Fei. Lin Xian silently memorized these 2 people and then asked about the others. After sending off Yi Qianqing, Lin Xian let out a sigh of relief. After hearing this news, he realized that these core disciples were definitely geniuses. Fortunately, he had broken through to the late harmonious spirit realm. Otherwise, it would be difficult to deal with these people. 10 days passed quickly. During this period, Lin Xian had completely consolidated his late harmonious spirit realm cultivation. The competition for the Azure Dragon Society's quota had also begun. The Great Banner sect became lively on this day. All the disciples and most of the elders had gathered. Lin Xian followed Yi Qianqing to the square. Looking at the dense crowd, he felt a trace of excitement in his heart. As long as he got the quota of the Azure Dragon Society, he would be able to participate in the Azure Dragon Society. When he obtained the true dragon chi, he would be able to know the location of the great dragon sword. Brother Lin, those people are the top 10 core disciples. Yi Qianqing said. Lin Xian looked over and saw 10 figures standing proudly in the crowd. These people were wearing iron-blooded battle robes and had a strong aura. That person is Ouyang Kuan, Yi Qianqing whispered. A person stood in front of the core disciples. His appearance was ordinary, but his eyes were like lightning, like a dormant, fierce beast. Ouyang Kuan is 30 years old this year. He participated in the last Azure Dragon Society, so he has a lot of experience. You've participated in it once? Lin Xian was astonished as he observed Ouyang Kuan carefully. Yes, 10 years ago, Ouyang Kuan participated, but he was still young and didn't get a good result. The arrogant figure felt Lin Xian's gaze and silently turned his head. His gaze was like a divine light piercing through the void. When he saw Lin Xian, he was still expressionless and quickly turned his head. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. This person's aura was very strong. Also, that girl with the dimples, she is Hua Fei. She is only 18 years old this year, but she has reached the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, and it is said that her soul has reached the level of a 4-star inscription master. 4-star inscription master? Lin Xian was astonished. These days he had never stopped cultivating his soul force. So strictly speaking, his soul had reached the level of a 4-star inscription master. This time, before Lin Xian looked over, the girl with the dimples had already looked over. Hee, you are that Lin Xian? The girl's voice sounded in Lin Xian's mind. You look quite ordinary. Chapter 437. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. Such a strong soul force, worthy of being a core disciple. At this moment, Iron Arm stood up and said in a deep voice, This is the Azure Dragon Society. There are only 5 spots for the challenge. There are 11 participants, and the top 5 will be qualified. Moreover, the first place will receive an extra reward. This reward may affect the ranking of the Azure Dragon Society. A reward that can affect the ranking of the Azure Dragon Society. The crowd exclaimed, including the core disciples. Their eyes shone brightly as they trembled with excitement. No matter what, they had to give it their all. Ouyang Kuan, who was standing at the front, smiled. In his opinion, the first place would be his, and the special reward would also be his. All right, enough chit-chat. Lin Xian, come on up. Lin Xian's body flashed, and he appeared in the middle of the square in an instant. Such a good movement skill. The Daki Sect's elder nodded slightly. For a moment, all eyes fell on Lin Xian. The 10 core disciples stared at Lin Xian with different expressions. The top few disciples had a playful smile on their faces. They didn't put Lin Xian in their eyes. On the other hand, the core disciples at the bottom of the rankings were somewhat worried. Originally, they did not put Lin Xian in their eyes. However, when they saw Lin Xian's movement skill, they became vigilant in their hearts. That speed made them shudder with fear and trepidation. All right, let the competition begin. In the middle of the square, 11 young warriors were competing for the 5 spots. Each of them had to fight 10 rounds to determine the top 5. The referee was a white-bearded old man, a late-stage flower spirit expert. This kind of cultivation was completely above everyone else. allowing him to control the competition well. The first match was Lin Xian's. His opponent was the 8th-ranked core disciple. Han Jun's cultivation was at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, but his aura was much stronger than Qiu Sihai and Duan Wuqing. I heard you defeated Qiu Sihai and Duan Wuqing? Han Jun sneered. I advise you to admit defeat. Those two can't be compared to me. Whether or not we can compete, we'll know after the battle. Lin Xian said in a low voice. Good boy, you're really arrogant. Take this. Han Jun shouted coldly, and his body floated out. Battle Wolf, Divine Fist. His fist swung out like the howl of a demonic wolf, carrying with it a ruthless aura. The wind from his fists whistled, shaking the surroundings. Han Jun was right. He was not someone that Duan Wuqing and the others could compare to. Using the Battle Wolf fist technique, he could probably defeat Duan Wuqing within 10 moves. However, Lin Xian's strength was far beyond his imagination. Within the violent fist shadows, Lin Xian's body was erratic. Like a willow leaf swaying in the wind, it brushed past the shadow of the fist, but remained unscathed every time. What exquisite footwork! On the high platform, all the elders nodded and exclaimed, This little fellow is not simple. He can remain undefeated in the innate realm with just this movement technique. Sure enough, after dozens of moves, Han Jun did not even manage to touch a corner of Lin Xian's clothes. Damn it! Han Jun's face was gloomy. He felt embarrassed that he could not hit a mid-harmonious spirit kid. Wolf fighting in the wild. The sky was filled with hundreds of green shadow battle wolves, filling up the entire arena. Each of the battle wolves had the strength to kill a peak harmonious spirit realm warrior. The sky was filled with wolf shadows, and they pounced on Lin Xian ferociously. However, Lin Xian only swung his sword once, and all the attacks were destroyed. Small success, sword intent. The news is true. Everyone felt the shocking sword intent and started to discuss among themselves. Small success, sword intent, so what? Watch my green wolf swallows the moon. Han Jun exerted all of his spirit energy, and the shadow of a green wolf condensed behind him. Wind Emperor's first sword. A shocking sword light flashed like a bolt of lightning, and the sharp sword chi instantly pierced through the green wolf shadow. Han Jun's face turned pale, and he took 10 steps back while trembling. He looked at Lin Xian in horror. What a sharp sword intent! Lin Xian could have easily killed him with that sword strike. If it wasn't for the competition, he would have been dead already. The winner is Lin Xian. The referee elder announced the result quickly. Everyone was shocked. The result was out of their expectation. Even though Lin Xian was rumored to be a god, it was still unreal for him to defeat Han Jun so easily. Among the core disciples, the last 5 disciples were nervous, and even the ones in front were cautious. Lin Xian's strength was out of their expectation. Perhaps only Ouyang Kuan and the others could remain calm. Sure enough, in the next match, Lin Xian's strength once again confirmed everyone's thoughts. The last 5 core disciples were no match for him, and he won with ease. In addition, Ouyang Kuan's performance was even more amazing. Even the second place, Yan Ming, was defeated by him within 30 moves. It seems like Ouyang Kuan will be the champion this time. Yeah, but I don't think the other 5 spots will be theirs. I think Hua Fei will get one of the spots. Her soul attack is too strange. That Lin Xian is not bad either. He is very strong. Master Tai Shou is really amazing to be able to find such a talented young man. Hey, look, Hua Fei and Lin Xian are fighting. On the stage, Hua Fei was cute and witty. She had 2 dimples on her face, making her look like a little girl next door. However, if someone really thought of her as a little girl next door, they would be gravely mistaken. Let me see how strong a genius like you is. Hua Fei picked up a harp and gently played it. Ding dong! A pleasant sound was heard, intoxicating everyone. However, this music contained a strange soul attack. Ordinary harmonious spirit realm warriors would be unlucky if they were caught off guard. Even a spirit transformation realm warrior would have to be careful when facing this kind of attack. However, Lin Xian was not worried at all. He was also an expert in soul force. With light steps, he quickly dodged the curved attacks. At the same time, he used the phantom sword art to form a phantom sword formation. Hey, he actually resisted Hua Fei's soul attack. This kid is too strong. The crowd below exclaimed. Hua Fei was also surprised. Her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. You are also a soul cultivator. Her small mouth was slightly open. Her fingers that were playing the harp paused for a moment. However, this gap was seized by Lin Xian. His phantom sword formed a strange attack and slashed at Hua Fei. Humph! Hua Fei humphed. Her fingers moved and beautiful music was heard. Spirit energy vibrated and quickly condensed. Shadows of sacred birds and sacred beasts appeared on the stage and danced with the harp music. Harmony of Zither Dao. It seems like Hua Fei is going to use her ultimate skill. Lin Xian frowned. He felt a sense of danger from these phantoms. Sword Qi soared to the sky. The great dragon sword intent let out a deep dragon roar. Terrifying sword light flashed in all directions. Ding! Hua Fei's fingers paused. One of the strings on her harp broke. This harp was a mid-grade spirit rank treasure. It was very powerful. Moreover, the strings were made from the tendons of 8th grade demonic beasts. They were very elastic and impossible to break. There was only one reason why the string broke. It was cut by Lin Xian's sword intent. Lin Xian wins. The referee elder announced. Humph! Hua Fei humphed and walked down the stage with her harp. Chapter 438. I didn't expect that even Hua Fei would lose. This Lin Xian is really amazing. Everyone exclaimed and looked at Lin Xian with a hint of awe. This was a world where the strong were respected. The stronger Lin Xian was, the more awe these people would have. The competition continued and Hua Fei went up again. This time, her opponent was Yongquan. In the last competition, Hua Fei's harp had a broken string, so she didn't use her harp this time. Instead, she used a jade flute. Obviously, this jade flute was also a mid-grade spiritual treasure. Melodies that sounded like they were telling the tale of death slowly flowed and reverberated in the arena. Yongquan was expressionless. He reached out with one hand and slammed it down. Spiritual energy surged, and the sky seemed to be torn apart. A huge purple stone tablet fell from the sky and suppressed the surroundings. The entire arena trembled violently and the sad tune was broken. Hua Fei was knocked out of the arena. The winner is Yongquan. The referee elder saw that Hua Fei was only knocked back and wasn't injured. He let out a sigh of relief. No wonder he's the #1 core disciple. He's still so strong. He broke the soul attack in one move. Yeah, first place will definitely be senior brother Yongquan. Everyone was talking and looking at Yongquan with admiration. Yongquan didn't have any expression about his victory. His opponents weren't these people, but the powerhouses of the Azure Dragon Association. For example, the chief disciples of the other 5 top factions. As for the rest, he didn't care at all. Lin Xian looked at Yongquan in shock. To be honest, Yongquan's strength was beyond his expectations. Moreover, that move was very violent. Even an early-stage spirit transformation realm cultivator wouldn't dare to take it head-on. However, he was able to control his strength very well and only sent Hua Fei flying. This kind of method was indeed terrifying. Moreover, This person's aura contained an inexplicable power. He should have comprehended a domain, but he didn't know what kind of domain it was. Shaking his head, Lin Xian didn't go up. He thought that he would know when he met him. Next, everyone took turns to go up. As the number of matches increased, the strength of each contestant was clearly displayed before everyone. The core disciples ranked in the bottom 5, lost more than they won. They were already out of luck with the 5 spots of the Azure Dragon Association. However, these people did not give up. They treated every match seriously and gave it their all. From this point, it could be seen that they were different from ordinary cultivators. They would not give up on themselves just because they had lost their quota this time. Those who had the ability to fight for a spot were the core disciples, ranked at the top. Of course, there were 2 exceptions. One of them was the cute girl Hua Fei. She relied on her strange soul power to rush to the front. The other person was Lin Xian. His domineering display also made everyone gasp in amazement. Moreover, Lin Xian and Ouyang were the 2 martial artists who had yet to lose. F***CK, this Lin Xian is too terrifying. He hasn't lost yet. What's the big deal? He hasn't met a real expert yet. I'm guessing that if he meets Ouyang or Zuyang, he'll lose for sure. That being said, it was indeed surprising that he could reach such a level at his age. The focus of everyone's discussion was Lin Xian, the dark horse. Look, Lin Xian's opponent is Zuyang. Zuyang was at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. He was ranked 2nd among the core disciples. Brat, your undefeated streak ends here. Zuyang drew out a blood-red long blade. He was very unhappy about losing to Ouyang just now. Now, Lin Xian, a mid-harmonious spirit brat, was able to maintain his undefeated streak. This made him even angrier. Therefore, he immediately used his ultimate skill, the Broken Sun Saber art. The blood-red blade light slashed through the void. It was like a broken sun, bringing with it a sense of desolation. He used his secret art right away. It seems like Zuyang is going to get angry. Sigh, it's Lin Xian's bad luck to have come across Zuyang. Everyone shook their heads and sighed. They instinctively thought that Lin Xian would lose. There was no other way. Zuyang's cultivation was 3 levels higher than Lin Xian. The gap was too big. Moreover, the Savage Sunblade art was a high-level spirit, rank martial art. Its power was incomparable. Therefore, no one was optimistic about Lin Xian's chances. However, many of the elders on the viewing platform were slightly interested in this. I wonder if this kid has any other secret art. If he doesn't, I'm afraid he will lose. The blood-red setting sun shone in all directions. The terrifying blade light swept across the stage. A sense of desolation spread across the stage. The sky was dyed blood-red. Facing such a sharp blade art, Lin Xian quickly used the phantom illusion. No, he dodged while waving his star extinction sword. Every strike was aimed at the weakest part of the blade light. Therefore, even though the entire stage was filled with blade energy, the area 10 meters in front of Lin Xian was very safe. Good eyesight. He can find the flaw in every strike. Iron Arms nodded slightly. However, Zuyang was shocked. He had practiced the Savage Sunblade art to the great completion realm. It was very difficult for warriors of the same level to find his flaw. However, a mid-harmonious spirit, Brat was able to find his weakness every time. He found it hard to believe. He didn't believe that it was luck. What kind of heaven-defying luck could accurately find his flaw every time? No matter what, he had to be the first to attack. He had to use his secret art and win by overwhelming his opponent. Blood Sun Intent. Blood Setting Sun. Chapter 439. On the stage, Zuyang was half kneeling on the ground with a long blade in his hand. His hair was disheveled, and he was in a sorry state. The blood at the corner of his mouth was very eye-catching. What? Zuyang lost? This is impossible. The crowd couldn't believe it. Zuyang was the genius ranked second among the core disciples. His cultivation had reached the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Apart from Ouyang Kuan, no one could defeat him. No one expected that he would be defeated by Lin Xian. For a moment, Lin Xian became the focus of everyone's discussion. Moreover, many people were comparing him with Ouyang Kuan. With Lin Xian's current record, he was almost certain to get a spot. Moreover, he had yet to be defeated. The first place of this challenge would be between him and Ouyang Kuan. Ouyang Kuan turned his head to look at Lin Xian with a trace of contempt in his eyes. Too weak, so weak that he couldn't arouse his interest. As a former participant of the Azure Dragon Society, Ouyang Kuan was far superior to Zuyang and the others in terms of cultivation and experience. In the eyes of the crowd, Lin Xian was a monstrous genius, but in his eyes Lin Xian was ordinary because he had seen too many monstrous geniuses in the Azure Dragon Society. The competition continued, and the last 5 spots were decided. The top 3 core disciples had each obtained a spot. The remaining 2 were Gui Huafei and Lin Xian. Iron Hand looked at Lin Xian and pondered. To be honest, he just wanted to let Lin Xian run into a wall and accumulate experience so that he could participate in the next Azure Dragon Society. But he didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. Not only did he obtain a spot, but he also defeated the second-ranked Zuyang. This kind of talent was rarely seen in his life. I wonder how he will fare against Ouyang Kuan. Will he win? Iron Hand didn't know why, but a trace of expectation rose in his heart. When this thought came to his mind, even he was shocked. He smiled bitterly and shook his head. This was obviously impossible. Ouyang Kuan's strength was far beyond Lin Xian's. In the arena, Lin Xian and Ouyang Kuan stood on opposite sides. They were about to enter the final round. Everyone held their breaths and watched quietly. Although they knew that Lin Xian had no chance of winning, they still retained a trace of hope in their hearts. Brett, you're not bad. I feel like I'm looking at my past self in you. Ouyang Kuan spoke for the first time, and his voice was as firm as a boulder. With your aptitude, you should have a great chance of entering the next Azure Dragon Society, he said in the tone of an elder. Thank you, senior apprentice brother Ouyang. Lin Xian smiled. However, we cultivators must seize every moment. I'm not sure if I'll participate in the next tournament, but this time I'll definitely shine with my own brilliance. Arrogant and ignorant. Ouyang Kuan snorted. There are countless geniuses more monstrous than you in the Azure Dragon Assembly. Looks like you won't wake up until I show you some true strength. As he spoke, he stretched out his 5 fingers, and streaks of purple qi spread out from his fingertips. Universe, devil-suppressing hand. The purple palm fell, and the spirit qi in the sky vibrated, forming a huge vortex. The purple palm fell from the sky, suppressing Lin Xian. The purple palm was like a real mountain, and it fell quickly. Boom! The arena trembled, and it was forcefully pressed down by 3 feet. Lin Xian used the illusory demonic steps and quickly dodged the attack. However, before he could react, Ouyang Kuan had already arrived beside him. His right leg swept out like a dragon emerging from the sea. Bang! A dull sound echoed in the arena. In a moment of desperation, Lin Xian quickly used the silver thunder body and forcefully kicked. Lin Xian's terrifying power forced him to retreat. Lin Xian slashed a deep trench in the arena. He slid all the way to the edge of the arena. After the attack, Ouyang Kuan stood with his hands behind his back and spoke calmly. Do you see? This is the difference between us. The crowd exclaimed. They did not expect Ouyang Kuan to push Lin Xian back in 2 moves. It seemed that Ouyang Kuan was indeed powerful, suppressing so many geniuses. Lin Xian shook his numb palms, and his eyes shone with a shocking light. The kick just now had indeed made him suffer, but he was excited. It had been a long time since he met such an opponent who could make his blood boil. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile, as expected of a member of the Azure Dragon Association. You are indeed powerful. An opponent like you is worthy of my full strength. Lin Xian's words caused an uproar. Many people were puzzled. Could it be that this brat had some ultimate move? However, more people thought that Lin Xian was bragging and was just trying to save some face. Iron Arms also frowned. He could not guess what other ultimate move Lin Xian had. Ouyang Kuan sneered. No matter what ultimate move you have, you can't win against me. Is that so? Lin Xian smiled, and his hands quickly formed a seal. Release the seal. A slight sound came from his body, and suddenly a vast aura rushed out. This is late harmonious spirit realm. Everyone widened their eyes. He actually hid his cultivation. This is too terrifying. Many people went crazy. Lin Xian was able to maintain his undefeated record by hiding his cultivation level. If it wasn't for Ouyang Kuan, no one would have known that Lin Xian was actually a late harmonious spirit realm cultivator. Zhuiyang and the others looked at the arena, their faces burning. They had always thought of themselves as geniuses and looked down on others. However, they had never thought that they would be defeated by Lin Xian. Moreover, Lin Xian had suppressed his cultivation level to fight with them. He actually hid his cultivation level. Iron Arms was also surprised. Even with his cultivation level and eyesight, he could not see Lin Xian's hidden cultivation level. This little guy is quite interesting. Perhaps he can create some surprises. On the arena, Ouyang Kuan looked at Lin Xian with a dignified expression. It's useless. Even if you are at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, you still can't win against me, let alone a late harmonious spirit realm cultivator. Now let's end this. His voice was still echoing in the arena, but his figure had already arrived in front of Lin Xian. A purple light bloomed on the surface of his body, dancing like a divine flame. His 5 fingers formed a claw and grabbed at Lin Xian's throat. Lin Xian quickly retreated. At the same time, he unsheathed his star extinction sword. The hilt of the sword quickly clashed with the purple palm, producing a clanging sound. Then, Lin Xian held the long sword and slashed out. The sword light floated silently and instantly pierced toward Ouyang Kuan's shoulder. This sword attack combined the great dragon sword intent and the concept of wind. Not only was it sharp, but it was also extremely fast. In a flash, Ouyang Kuan's spiritual energy defense was cut open. However, Ouyang Kuan's strength was extraordinary. His shoulders shook while his fingers were like a knife, quickly cutting the sword. The long sword vibrated and drew a strange sword light in the air. With a tearing sound, a corner of Ouyang Kuan's iron blood battle robe was cut off. What? He almost injured Brother Ouyang. The crowd below exclaimed. Many people only saw the corner of the robe falling, but they could not see the trajectory of the sword and Ouyang Kuan's movements. Only Zhuiyang and a few others could see it clearly. On the high platform, the elders of the Great Flag sect narrowed their eyes. This little kid is really full of surprises. Vice Sect Master, where did you find such a peerless genius? Chapter 440. Lin Xian's sword cut off the corner of Ouyang Kuan's clothes, causing a commotion. Looking at Lin Xian, whose aura had changed greatly, Ouyang Kuan's face became serious. He was surprised that the sword light could break through his defense. Moreover, the sword light was so fast that he was caught off guard. Universe, devil, subduing palm. purple light pulsed all over his body. It was as if he could suppress everything. Ouyang Kuin's body was covered in purple light. His aura was comparable to that of a spirit transformation realm warrior. With a wave of his palm, purple chi filled the sky. It was like a ray of light from the heavens, attacking Lin Xian with a terrifying aura. The entire arena was covered in purple light. Even a spirit transformation realm warrior would not dare to resist. Looking at the terrifying attack on the arena, the crowd below exclaimed. Some of the weaker disciples turned pale. Facing such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian only swung his sword. He raised his sword will to 50% for the strike. The sword chi was shocking. It instantly split the purple light and quickly slashed at Ouyang Kuin. The 50% sword intent was too shocking. It made the surrounding warriors' swords tremble as if they were about to fly into the arena. What kind of sword intent is this? It's so terrifying. I can't breathe. Oh my God, this aura is far beyond that of a small success sword intent. Can he hide his sword intent? Everyone was stunned. Even the elders were shocked. It was common to hide one's cultivation level, and it was relatively easy to do so. However, a person's realm could not be hidden unless he did not use it. However, Lin Xian seemed to have broken this rule. Not only did he hide his cultivation level, but he also hid part of his sword intent. This method was terrifying. In the crowd, Zhu Yang's face was pale. He was still brooding about losing to Lin Xian. However, facing this sword intent, he felt a deep sense of powerlessness. In the arena, Ouyang Kuin's face became gloomy. Every time he was full of confidence and used the tone of a senior to educate Lin Xian, the latter would always show unexpected strength. This was clearly a slap to his face. 50% sword intent. This kid actually comprehended 50% sword intent. Ouyang Kuin's body was pulsing with purple light, sometimes high and sometimes low. He had once participated in the Green Dragon Society. Back then, he had met many swordsmen who had comprehended sword intent. Some of them had even comprehended 70% sword intent. However, those people were far older than Lin Xian. He had never seen someone as young as Lin Xian who had comprehended such sword intent. Looks like I'll have to go all out. Ouyang Kuin's heart was heavy. He had originally intended to reserve his strength for when he faced the other chief disciples of the other sections. But now, it seemed that he had no choice but to use his full strength. To be able to force me to use my full strength. Even if you lose, you should be proud. Ouyang Kuin's voice was cold. The purple chi on his body flourished, like a purple cloud, rapidly flowing. Extreme violet spectroscopic technique. The chi on Ouyang Kuin's body floated quickly and separated from his body, gradually forming a blurry figure beside him. Everyone looked at the figure with fear on their faces. This was because they saw that the illusory fog eventually turned into a human figure that looked 80% similar to Ouyang Kuin. What is this? A doppelganger? Everyone was stunned. In the stands, Iron Arms and the others frowned. Extreme violet spectroscopic technique. I didn't expect him to succeed. Rumor has it that this secret technique is comparable to an Earth rank martial art and is extremely difficult to cultivate. I didn't expect to see it again today. Lin Xian's talent is heaven-defying, but Ouyang Kuin's talent isn't bad either. Once this secret technique is used, even if Lin Xian has 50% sword intent, it will be difficult for him to resist. Lin Xian frowned as he looked at the figure that looked like a clone. He quickly used his eye technique to sense, but he found that the doppelganger's aura was exactly the same as Ouyang Kuin's. How is this possible? Just as he was surprised, Ouyang Kuin and the purple figure quickly rushed over, turning into two purple rays of light. He waved the star extinction sword, and the sword chi drew a half-moon arc in front of him, forcing the two to retreat. However, The two of them attacked from the front and back, and their strength was comparable to a spirit transformation realm martial artist. They actually suppressed Lin Xian. Everyone was stunned. Just when they thought Lin Xian would win, such a situation happened. As expected of eldest senior brother, he actually has such a secret technique. It seems that Lin Xian will lose for sure. That's for sure. This secret technique is equivalent to the attack of two spirit transformation realm martial artists. No matter how heaven-defying Lin Xian is, he can't resist two spirit transformation realm martial artists. However, although this secret technique is powerful, it must have a certain limit. Otherwise, it would be heaven-defying. Some people guessed that it wouldn't take long. Indeed, Yangkuin's attacks were fierce, and he looked like he wanted to end the battle quickly. He had just mastered the purple extreme diffusing light technique, so he could only use it for a short time. However, this was enough. After all, no one could resist the attack of two spirit transformation realm martial artists. Universe, devil suppressing hand. Yangkuin and his doppelganger used two secret techniques at the same time, attacking Lin Xian from the left and right. If this attack hit, Lin Xian would lose half of his life, even if he didn't die. The referee elder's expression became serious. He was ready to help at any time. At this moment of crisis, Lin Xian sighed and grasped the hilt of the Wind Shadow Sword. Originally, he didn't want to reveal his trump card. However, facing such an attack, he had no choice but to do so. It was either the 70% sword intent or the Wind Shadow Sword. After thinking about it, he decided to use the Wind Shadow Sword. After all, the Wind Shadow Sword was easy to recognize. Moreover, he wanted to hide his 70% sword intent as a last resort. Seeing that the huge purple palm was about to wrap Lin Xian quickly pulled out the Wind Shadow Sword. With two swords in hand, Lin Xian lightly tapped his feet and spun like a whirlwind. A terrifying sword light stirred up the surroundings. The sword light flashed and filled the entire stage. In an instant, Lin Xian's doppelganger appeared on the other side of the stage. Boom! The terrifying sword light disappeared, and the two purple palms split apart. Not only that, the doppelganger was split into two and quickly disappeared. Yangkuin's iron-blooded battle robe was also torn apart. The terrifying sword intent pierced through his inner armor and left a sword mark. However, Lin Xian was very careful. The sword mark only stayed on the surface and didn't hurt Yangkuin. Yangkuin's body stiffened, and cold sweat dripped down his forehead. In that instant, although he saw the sword chi's path and tried his best to resist, the sword chi was too terrifying. It instantly pierced through his defense. Everyone was stunned. They didn't see what happened at all. They only saw the stage being surrounded by the purple aura. In the next moment, the shocking sword light enveloped the stage. Although they didn't see the process of the battle clearly, they saw the result clearly. Lin Xian was unharmed, but there was a sword mark on Yangkuin's chest. The winner was immediately determined. The referee elder was also stunned. That sword strike just now gave him a breathtaking feeling. He took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "The winner is Lin Xian." Chapter 441. Everyone was stunned. They hadn't expected this result. The elders in the stands stared at the green jade sword in Lin Xian's hand. Is that sword a high-grade, spirit-grade treasure? Yeah. Why does it look so familiar? It looks like the Evil King's sword. Iron Hand looked at the Wind Shadow Sword and slowly said, "That's right, it should be the Wind Shadow Sword. I didn't expect this little guy to obtain it." What? It really is the Wind Shadow Sword. No wonder he could defeat Yangkuin, the elders exclaimed. High-grade, spirit-grade treasures were very precious in the Dragon Star country. Moreover, The terrifying attack bonus allowed the owner to challenge those with higher cultivation levels. Ouyang Kuan stared at the wind shadow sword in Lin Xian's hand with a face full of unwillingness. However, a loss was a loss, so he could only leave in anger. Damn, I didn't expect Lin Xian to have a high-grade spirit grade treasure. This kind of treasure is rare even in the great sects. Ouyang Kuan actually lost, but it wasn't an unjust loss. Even an early-stage spirit transformation realm cultivator might not be able to contend against a high-grade spirit grade treasure. This kid is really lucky to have a high-grade spirit grade treasure. The group of people discussed spiritedly. They all attributed Lin Xian's victory to the Wind Shadow Sword. However, they didn't know that the Wind Shadow Sword was only one of Lin Xian's many trump cards. Even without the Wind Shadow Sword, Lin Xian could still win the competition. However, he didn't want to reveal his other trump cards. With the end of the competition, the Azure Dragon Association Spot Challenge also came to an end. Lin Xian became the biggest dark horse and took first place. He had obtained a spot in the Azure Dragon Association, and a mysterious prize was waiting for him. Not only Lin Xian, but everyone was curious about this mysterious prize. However, no matter how much they guessed, they still didn't know what it was. After the competition, Lin Xian was called away by Lord Iron Hand. Iron Hand stared at Lin Xian in the ancient study. To be honest, I didn't expect you to reach this point. Before this, I didn't even think that you could get a spot in the Azure Dragon Society. The rest will depend on your performance at the Azure Dragon Gathering. I'll do my best to get a good ranking. Lin Xian said, with your current strength, it is indeed not possible for you to obtain the Azure Dragon Chi. If you can enter the top 100 this time, you might be able to break into the top 30 next time. Iron Arms said, Azure Dragon Chi? Impossible. Lin Xian was stunned. In the entire Azure Dragon Society, there are only 72 people who can obtain true Dragon Chi. These people are all peerless geniuses. Their strength is beyond your imagination. Iron Arms continued. In the history of the Great Banner Sect, the best result was only to reach the top 50. I'm afraid it would be difficult for the rest to even reach the top 100. Lin Xian frowned slightly. This was not what he had expected. After all, he was aiming for first place. I want to know the strength of the top few martial artists in the Azure Dragon Association. Iron Arms was stunned. He didn't expect Lin Xian to ask such a question. In his opinion, Lin Xian was biting off more than he could chew. However, he still gave an explanation. There are 4 peerless geniuses in the entire Tianan region. These people all come from 5-star sects and have a very deep background. For example, the first place is Infinite Tyrant. He is the chief disciple of the Sky Dominator sect and has reached the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. It is even rumored that he once fought with a spirit-detecting realm martial artist and didn't lose after hundreds of moves. Late stage of the spirit transformation realm. Fought with a spirit-detecting realm martial artist? Lin Xian was stunned. He didn't expect the first place to be so powerful that his cultivation had reached the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. Iron Arms continued. In addition to Infinite Tyrant, there is also Zhou Jianying from the Myriad Sword sect. Last time, her sword intent had already reached 70%. This time, it must be even more terrifying. It is rumored that she is very close to the large success stage. Therefore, the Azure Dragon Association is far more difficult than you think. Lin Xian took a deep breath. These geniuses were indeed beyond his expectations. No wonder Iron Arms didn't have much hope for him. With his current level, he would probably be defeated in one move if he met these people. Although you can't fight against these geniuses, if your cultivation improves a little more, you can still obtain a spot in the Azure Dragon Association. Azure Dragon Association was the title given to the top 72 martial artists. These people could enjoy the aura of the Azure Dragon, so they were called Azure Dragon Geniuses. Moreover, you don't have to be too discouraged. Your talent is extraordinary. I believe you will be able to shine in the next Azure Dragon Association. Iron Arms still recognized Lin Xian's talent. At such a young age, he had already comprehended 50% sword intent and also the concept of wind. This kind of talent was really rare. My cultivation improves a little more. Lin Xian was puzzled. The reason he improved so quickly was because of the nefarious monarch crystal. Otherwise, even if he was a peerless genius, it would be impossible to improve his cultivation in a short period of time. Seeing the doubt in Lin Xian's eyes, Iron Arm smiled and said, "Follow me." The two of them walked towards the depths of the Great Banner Sect. The back mountain was the Great Banner Sect's forbidden area. Besides Iron Arms, no one else was allowed to enter. At this moment, Iron Arms led Lin Xian into the forbidden area. Passing through a dark cave, the two of them arrived at the underground world. Below them was a huge palace. The decorations were almost the same as the Great Banner Sect's main hall. This is... Lin Xian was puzzled. He didn't know why Iron Arms would bring him here. Iron Arms pushed open the blood-red door and led Lin Xian in. As soon as he entered, Lin Xian felt a bone-piercing chill, as if he had entered a 10,000-year-old ice cave. "You're here." A weak voice sounded. This voice carried a trace of exhaustion. "Sect Master, are you okay?" Iron Arms asked with concern. "Sect Master." Lin Xian was shocked. He suddenly raised his head and looked in front of him. In front of him, there was a blue throne. It emitted a cold air that could be felt from far away. And on the ice throne, there was a woman lazily leaning on it. The woman's face was cold and her eyebrows showed endless exhaustion. Her exquisite body was leaning on the ice throne. Vaguely, there was a trace of a black flame dancing. This person is actually the Great Banner Sect's sect master. Lin Xian was shocked. During his stay, he had learned that Lord Iron Arms was the Great Banner Sect's vice sect master. However, he had never heard of the sect master. It wasn't just him. Many of the disciples didn't know. Even the core disciples had never seen her before. Lin Xian never expected that the mysterious Great Banner Sect's sect master would be a woman. Furthermore, she looked very weak. This person is injured, and her injuries aren't light. Lord Alcohol transmitted his voice. "Do you see that black flame? That kind of flame can probably burn a spirit channeling realm warrior to death." "It can burn a spirit channeling realm warrior to death?" Xianzai was shocked. He carefully looked at the black flame. With his outstanding soul, he could clearly feel the terror of the flame. He really didn't know how this woman had endured it. Thankfully, she has the blue ice throne. Otherwise, she would have been burned to death. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said respectfully, "This junior, Lin Xian, pays his respects to senior." "Lin Xian? Isn't he the Ouyang Kun you mentioned?" The cold woman frowned. Chapter 442. Iron Hand explained with a smile, "He is not Ouyang Kun. He defeated Ouyang Kun in this competition and won first place." "Oh." The cold woman's beautiful eyes turned and looked at Lin Xian. "Late, harmonious spirit realm, comprehending sword intent. This aura, there is even the concept of wind. He is indeed a genius." Lin Xian was shocked. The woman only glanced at him, and she could see through him. Perhaps even Iron Hand, a late spirit detecting expert, didn't have such means. "Sanfeng, since you brought him here, there shouldn't be any problem. Can you bring him to the immortal transformation pool?" The cold woman's voice was lazy, as if she didn't want to say more. All right, I will bring him to the immortal transformation pool. Sanfeng. At this moment, Lin Xian was shocked again. This woman actually called Iron Hand Sanfeng, Sanfeng. Could it be Jiang Sanfeng? Lin Xian suppressed the doubts in his heart and followed Iron Hand to the bronze door at the side. Inside was a completely different world. In the center was a pool with a diameter of about 10 meters. It was shrouded in multicolored light and colorful fog. As soon as he entered, he could feel a rich spirit energy rushing towards him. Such rich spirit energy. Lin Xian was shocked. This energy was not much weaker than the energy inside the evil king's crystal. Could this be the reward for the first place? Lin Xian's heart was burning with excitement. This was the immortal transformation pool. It only opened once every 10 years. It contained pure energy that could help a cultivator increase their realm. Go and soak yourself in it. I will bring you out after 3 days. Hearing this, Lin Xian quickly nodded. He couldn't wait any longer. If everything went well, his cultivation could increase again. This was very important to him. After all, he needed to increase his cultivation after hearing about the strength of the Azure Dragon Association's geniuses. Iron Hand left and closed the bronze door. Lin Xian quickly entered the immortal transformation pool and began to absorb the energy inside. Strands of pure energy quickly entered his body. Under the effect of the longevity art, these strands of energy turned into spirit energy in his body. 2 days later, Lin Xian's cultivation increased greatly, reaching the peak of harmonious spirit realm. This speed was too terrifying. No wonder Iron Hand had said that the reward for the first place could affect the Azure Dragon Association's ranking. At this rate, it was very likely that he would break through again and reach the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. It was only natural that an increase of 2 levels would affect the Azure Dragon Society's ranking. However, this sort of fortune could only be chanced upon by luck. After all, the immortal transformation pool would only be opened once every 10 years, and only the first place of the great sex would be able to enjoy such treatment. Fortunately, Lin Xian had won first place. Otherwise, he would not have had a chance. There's only 1 day left. I must absorb as much as I can and try to break through again. Humph, brat, no matter how hard you try, you can only reach the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. I'm afraid it will be very difficult for you to obtain the true dragon chi with your current cultivation. Even if he barely squeezes into the Azure Dragon Genius, I'm afraid that the weak true dragon aura won't be able to lock onto the great dragon sword's location, said Lord Alcohol. Then what should we do? Lin Xian said, right now I can only do my best to improve my cultivation and strive to squeeze into the top 72. It wasn't that Lin Xian wasn't talented enough. His talent was already heaven-defying. However, he had only cultivated for a short period of time. If one were to count seriously, it was only 2 years. Furthermore, he didn't have a powerful sect to rely on. All the resources and treasures he had were obtained by risking his life. As for those peerless geniuses, they were nurtured by their sex the moment they were born. They never lacked any heavenly treasures. In addition, many of those people had participated in the previous immortal transformation pool. Compared to them, Lin Xian's foundation was still too weak. Lord Alcohol, do you have a way? Asked Lin Xian. I do, but it depends on whether you dare to do it or not, said Lord Alcohol with a smile. Really? Lin Xian was delighted. As long as I can increase my cultivation, there's nothing I wouldn't dare to do. All right, then let me tell you. Do you see the flames on the woman outside? As long as you absorb it, your strength will increase greatly. What? Absorb the black flames? Lin Xian widened his eyes. With his current strength, a wisp of the black flames could burn him to ashes. Lord Alcohol, are you sure you aren't trying to burn me to death? Lin Xian's face fell. With me around, how can I burn you to death? Lord Alcohol said. However, there will be some pain when you absorb it. If you can endure it, all your previous efforts will be for naught. As long as there's a glimmer of hope, I won't give up. Lin Xian's eyes were resolute. All right, I'll teach you the mystic technique now. Use this method to raise your cultivation to the spirit transformation realm before absorbing the black flames, said Lord Alcohol quickly. Relax your mind and don't resist. Lin Xian sat cross-legged and emptied his soul. The next moment he was pulled by a mystical force, and his consciousness temporarily left his body. His vision blurred, and when he woke up again, he found himself in front of Lord Alcohol. In front of him, Lord Alcohol was leaning against a divine tree with a wine gourd in one hand. He looked very carefree. Xiao, Xuanzi, we meet again. This is... Inside the mysterious sword, Lin Xian was shocked. He had been to this place once before, and that was the first time he learned of Lord Alcohol's existence. Xiao Xuanzi, since you will find the great dragon sword sooner or later, there's no harm in telling you some things in advance. Lord Alcohol's black hair fluttered, and his slightly lazy face looked very solemn. Of the 5 swords in the world, whoever obtains one is honored. One of them is the great dragon sword, which represents an offensive sacred art. It can be said to have the best defensive power. Apart from it, there are 4 other divine swords. One of them is the sword of devouring. It turns out that I'm in control of it. The sword of devouring is said to be able to devour everything in the world. Legend has it that when evolved to the extreme, it can even devour time and space. Later on, due to certain reasons, my body perished and only my remnant soul came here. Now, I only have the incomplete sword of devouring in my hands, but it should be enough to pass it to you. Lin Xian was shocked. He never expected Jiu Ye's origins to be so astonishing. He actually possessed one of the 5 swords in the world. But what will happen to you if you pass it to me? Lin Xian asked. Although he yearned for power, he didn't want anything to happen to Lord Alcohol. In my current state, I'm afraid I'll die if I leave this space. Rather than that, I might as well pass the sword of devouring to you. In the past, your cultivation level was too weak. If you expose these things too early, it would be disadvantageous for you. Now, for the sake of the great dragon sword, I have no choice but to pass it to you in advance. Lord Alcohol. Lin Xian's eyes were moist. Lord Alcohol had always helped him selflessly. This kindness was, like a father's love, something he would never forget. All right, it's not like we're parting forever. Why are you so sad? Lord Alcohol said, Besides, I have my own selfish motives for passing it to you. If you can find the sword of samsara in the future, I hope you can do me a favor. Don't worry. I'll definitely find the sword of samsara and help you get out. Lin Xian said solemnly. Chapter 443. All right, let's get down to business. I'll teach you the devouring sword now. With that, Lord Alcohol pointed at Lin Xian's glabella. Instantly, countless black vortexes appeared in all directions, emitting a terrifying aura like a sword from the underworld. An indescribable rhythm resounded like the sound of the great Tao. Countless terrifying scenes revolved around Lin Xian. Inside the cave, Lin Xian sat cross-legged in the immortal transformation pond with his palms facing the sky. Beside him, the snow-white monkey swam happily in the water, constantly drinking the spiritual liquid in the immortal transformation pond. Suddenly, a vortex appeared between Lin Xian's glabella, growing bigger and bigger. The black vortex spun, forming a strange suction force that rapidly absorbed the spiritual liquid in the immortal transformation pond. In an instant, a third of the spiritual liquid was sucked into the black vortex. Lin Xian's aura surged crazily. Soon, he reached the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. However, his aura was still growing rapidly. Boom! Lin Xian's aura erupted, forming a terrifying shockwave behind him. In the next moment, his cultivation reached the early stage of the spirit transformation realm. Lin Xian opened his eyes. His gaze was like two sword beams that cut through the void. At this moment, he was like the reincarnation of the sword god, abnormally sharp. Following his awakening, the black vortex on his forehead didn't disappear. Instead, it became even more berserk. However, his cultivation didn't increase this time. Beside him, the snow-white monkey cried out anxiously. It opened its mouth and frantically absorbed the spiritual liquid. There wasn't much spiritual liquid in the immortal transformation pond to begin with. With Lin Xian and the snow-white monkey's absorption, it quickly emptied out. Whoosh! The snow-white monkey entered the demonic beast pouch. Lin Xian also put away the black vortex and slowly stood up from the immortal transformation pond. This was because he could sense a powerful aura rapidly approaching. Needless to say, the only one who could enter this secret palace was Iron Arms. Sure enough, Iron Arms pushed open the bronze door and entered. However, when he saw the dried-up immortal transformation pond, he was stunned. In the past, the geniuses who came here to absorb the spiritual liquid could only reduce it by a third. How could there be someone like Lin Xian who had absorbed all the spiritual liquid in the immortal transformation pool? Tai Shou felt his heart ache. That was a rare treasure of the Great Flag sect. It was extremely mystical and could increase a martial artist's cultivation for a short period of time. Now that the treasure had been sucked dry, it would take decades for it to recover. Seeing Iron Arm's pained expression, Lin Xian faintly smiled. I can see that the sect master's body is being tortured by the black flames. I have a way to get rid of the black flames. What? You have a way? Iron Arms was shocked, but soon he looked over with a suspicious gaze. Do you really have a way? He couldn't be blamed for not believing it. It was just that the black flames had tortured the sect master for hundreds of years. Over the past 100 years, Sect Master Lung had used all kinds of methods but was unable to remove it. He could only use the ice throne to suppress it. One could only imagine how terrifying the black flames were. But now, a young man actually told him that he had a way to get rid of the black flames. Of course, Iron Hand didn't believe him. This black flame is abnormally strange and violent. I'm afraid that only the Black Dragon clan of the Demon Clan has such power. What? You know? Iron Arms exclaimed. Of course, not only do I know, but I can also help Sect Master get rid of the black flames. Come with me. Iron Arms was too excited. For the past 100 years, Sect Master Lung had been tortured by the black flames countless times. Moreover, their Great Flag sect had fallen from a 5-star sect to a 4-star sect. If their sect master could get rid of the black flames and recover his strength, the Great Flag sect would be able to become a 5-star sect again. And at that time, they would become the only overlord of the Dragon Star country. And all of their hopes were on Lin Xian. Soon, Iron Arms led Lin Xian out of the bronze cave and into the main hall. Reaching the peak of the harmonious spirit realm in 3 days is not bad. Sect Master Lung's lazy voice sounded. Thank you for your praise, Sect Master. Lin Xian cupped his fists and smiled. He hit his cultivation base again. In the eyes of others, he was only at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. His real cultivation base had reached the early stage of the spirit transformation realm, and his strength was comparable to a mid-stage spirit transformation realm warrior. Even if he met a late-stage spirit transformation realm warrior, he would still have the strength to fight. Of course, he could still fight an ordinary spirit transformation realm warrior, but there was still a gap between him and the four peerless geniuses. Sect Master, I have good news for you. Iron Arms said excitedly, there is hope to get rid of the black dragon flame in your body. All right, San Fong. I have heard this many times over the years. Don't say it again. Sect Master Lun shook his head slightly. You should focus on preparing the Azure Dragon Association. If I can get more Azure Dragon True Chi this time, I might be able to suppress the black dragon flame again. Sect Master, what Lord Iron Arms said is true. I might be able to help you get rid of the black dragon flame in your body. You? Sect Master Lung didn't believe him. Young man, it is better to be down to earth. She thought that Lin Xian was a bootlicker. However, Lin Xian's next words made her sit up in shock.